and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 156 of the It's Obvious Gaming Podcast. I'm Preston Pugh, joined by my two best friends, Garrett Drake.
Good afternoon.
And Jacob Alka.
Good afternoon.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this week prior to the best day of all time?
I guess now it's the best days of all time. Now it's all
best
spread
days
out.
of all time.
It still doesn't feel like it's that close, but it is. I don't know.
It's very close. It starts Saturday.
Yeah.
So E3 is upon us once again. I get the feeling this is going to be a massive year. I have a very good feeling about it.
I think so.
Across the board, too. I don't mean just for Sony and Xbox. I mean Nintendo. I even think EA, to an extent, is going to have a really strong presence.
I'm so excited about Nintendo.
Oh, you and me both, man. I just saw you playing Mario Tennis Aces, and I pee-peed out of excitement. I'm very excited to dabble.
We'll discuss it in a little bit, but some fairly credible leaks have come out about Nintendo's conference, and if they are indeed true, I think Nintendo might be the weakest, in my opinion, their conference.
That would be quite unfortunate, but hey, look on the bright side. They have a lot of strong stuff on the Switch right now, and it's only growing, and especially Mario Tennis Aces I'm excited for, but we're just talking about the Bloodstained prequel.
Yep.
As well
Bloodstained
as
Curse of the Moon.
Yeah, as well as Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 that I have on PS4, but I never got around to them. But hey, I think Switch is a much better place to play them anyway.
Here a little bit, I'm playing a game on the Switch that I did not think that I would like, but I'm really enjoying it.
What's that?
Do we want to go into our games right now?
We'll get to it in a second. I just want to give everyone a heads up in case you're new. The third voice you hear is not a ghost or an entity of some sort. It is actually Preston joining us remotely via Skype, just without video. It's his voice floating in the ether like an invisible man. If I was invisible, I would just watch you in your room.
I'm not familiar with that song.
That was way off key.
I'm surprised you even remember that song.
Yeah, that was a classic, man. Clay Aiken, he won American Idol one year, didn't he? Was he a runner-up?
He was a runner-up. I believe Ruben Studdard. I believe that's his name. Won that.
I feel like the runner-ups of American Idol tend to be more famous than the actual winners. I remember Chris Daughtry got voted off like halfway through the show, and he had a much better career than whoever won that year. Was it Fantasia that year?
I have no idea.
I used to be pretty familiar with American Idol.
I think everyone did. It was like the flagship. It was like the cult hit.
It was like the flagship reality TV show of the fall every year. So
I think it was the opposite of a cult hit.
No, it was pretty massive.
Everybody watched it.
Yeah, that was bad wording.
I know what you meant though. Preston, how's your week?
It's fine.
Cool. Did you work this week?
I did work this week quite a bit. Didn't have hardly any time during the weekdays to play any video games whatsoever. So all my gaming was done this weekend, and there wasn't a lot of it, but I did get to squeeze a little bit of game time in there. But
wonderful.
How about yourself?
My week was pretty solid. I wanted to start by saying I had a pretty awesome revelation last night. You guys are familiar with the cereal Honey Smacks?
No.
It has the fucking frog on the box. Yeah.
Now I
am. Sorry, I'm in this weird mindset. I had to run sound for one of the comedy shows at Smith's last night, and some of the comedians are so bad and so cringy that I just tried to hide myself under the booth the whole time because I just felt their pain. But a lot of them just say the same jokes, and a lot of them cuss so much that it's just like embedded into my brain now. I apologize. But anyway, Honey Smacks. So after the show, I had a bowl of Honey Smacks for the first time because I was starving, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to go out somewhere at 4 in the morning. So Casey has Honey Smacks, and the box always looked like peanuts to me. It looked like peanut cereal. I'm like, well, I don't want peanut cereal. But it turns out Honey Smacks are essentially pop cereal. You had pop cereal before?
Oh, yeah.
I love pops, but it's basically pop cereal with like a honey coating over the pops. And they are delicious, man. Brand new cereal I've never tried in my entire life, and now I'm a huge fan. I had like 4.5 bowls last night.
Welcome to the 21st century, dude.
Yeah. Whenever I eat cereal, I tend to have at least 3 or 4 bowls. It's pretty grotesque and disgusting.
It's impressive.
First time I ever had Fruity Pebbles, I think I ate an entire box by myself. It's at Kevin Mikulowski's house we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I haven't had a nice bowl of Fruity Pebbles in years, it seems like.
They're a real treat.
Haven't had cereals in quite a cereals. Haven't had cereal in quite a while.
I love cereal, man. Fruity Pebbles become sort of a porridge or a what's the word I'm looking at?
Porridge?
Porridge or oatmeal if you don't eat them fast enough, like a fruity oatmeal. That's why I just barely. I take like an eyedropper's worth of milk and just drop it onto my Fruity Pebbles so they don't get too soggy.
You know what breakfast food I've really been into recently?
What's that?
Grits.
Grits.
They're so good.
Grits
so
are
easy to
delicious.
make. So good.
I agree.
Totally worth the effort.
Preston, you been eating breakfast recently?
No, I don't eat breakfast.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't eat breakfast as often as I'd like to, but when I do, I'll dabble in some cereal. Mark my words.
Yeah, I never get to usually have one that I really like. It's always like something on the go usually, like fruit. But
I'm all about those grits.
You know, those opportunities where you do get to sit down and have a good breakfast. Those are great moments.
I agree.
I've been into the intermittent fasting for the past forever, so I've just gotten used to not eating breakfast.
Yeah, is that how that works? Like, when do you eat during the day?
I just eat about 4 or 5 hours after I wake up. So that's pretty much it. So I typically wake up for work around 6 or 7, and I just eat at normal lunchtime.
Yeah.
But the first 2-3 days is not fun, but I'm so used to it. I'm so used to it now that it's not even a big deal. So
good deal, man.
Yeah.
We want to jump into what we're playing?
Eating breakfast typically gives me just gnarly stomach problems as well. So I also like to not eat breakfast due to that problem.
Maybe it's what you're eating.
Typically anything. Just when I wake up, my stomach's already in a funk because that's just my life is my stomach just being weird. So I just have to find out what works for me. And typically eating breakfast just makes my day worse. So that's another reason I skip it.
Well, you do you, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I will do that.
So you said you played games this weekend. Sorry, Preston. It's so weird when we're talking like this. I can never tell when one of us is going to talk.
There's that slight delay.
Sorry, I wish I could be there.
It's all right. What were you going to ask Jacob?
Oh, just if he had played any games this week.
Okay.
Well, I've played a ton of games this week. Like much more than I usually do.
So you pulled a Preston from the other week where you just played everything.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. But I had a lot of time to play games this week though too, which is really nice.
Wonderful. What'd you play?
Let's see. Where do we want to start? Let's start on the Switch, I guess. I played a ton of games on the Switch this week. Finished Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. The game is just as good as everyone says it is. It's also quite challenging, and I would be lying if I said I didn't rage several times when I was playing, especially the last boss. That guy is an asshole. And it just took me at least 20 attempts to kill him, and it's not that I have a problem with dying a lot in these games, it's just that I have a problem with how long the boss fights take in this game in particular. Because there's all these bosses, they have phases, and then some bosses are like, they'll just fool around, and it'll take them a long time to go through their animations and whatnot, and just makes each attempt last a long time. So that's mainly why the last boss was kind of aggravating, in my opinion. But it was still satisfying getting through the boss and actually beating the game, because it definitely does have its good moments. The music is fantastic. A lot of the puzzles and the platforming is really fun, and it's always like changing the gameplay throughout the whole game, so it's keeping you invested in it, and you don't really get sick of doing any one thing in particular for too long, unless you're just struggling on a boss like I was for a couple of them. But yeah, that's a great game. If you're into platformers, I highly recommend Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on the Switch. But I've also been playing Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon, like I think you briefly mentioned earlier. I played the first level of that, and it's also really charming. A lot of people have been comparing it to Castlevania 3 in particular. The music in the game is also really good, and I can't wait for you to jump into it, because have you played a game like that before? I have, just not in a very long time. Yeah. So, I dabbled in Bloodstained, like the one that's coming at E3 last year. Yeah. So this one's obviously different. It's much more old school. Right. Like, it's not as 3-dimensional like the new one, but yeah.
I want to try it. It's $10 too, so why not?
Mm-hmm. And so I've gotten, because you get 4 characters throughout the game, or you start with 1, then you like get 3 more as your journey goes on.
Mhm.
I've gotten the second one, and she's really cool. She has like a whip, and like each character, like the first guy you start with, he has like a little sword, and it has a lot shorter range than the second chick you get. She has like a whip that's really long range, but each character has like a special ability where you press, I think it's X, or maybe it's Y, but it's usually like an aerial attack, but you have to like collect resources to use it. So it's kind of like the spell system in a way. And it keeps the gameplay, it's not the same thing over and over again. There's, enemies are flying in different directions, and you have different ways to take them out, which is satisfying. And but I've only finished the first level, so very early thoughts coming from me. But the game that I was talking about earlier that surprised me that I liked so much, I don't think, was this off the podcast where I told you this, Garrett?
About what?
That there was a game on the Switch that I was really invested in.
I think
that
I can't remember.
Didn't think I would be. Well, anyways, it's Pokemon Quest.
Okay, you did not tell me about this.
Yes. This is, so obviously the Pokemon event happened at the end of last week, and they announced 3 things. The first was the new versions coming to Switch this fall, which was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu,
Yeah.
which I'm also excited for. And then they announced that there's going to be a new core mainline Pokemon in next year in 2019, fall 2019. But then the last thing was Pokemon Quest, which is just this really weird, it almost looks Minecraft-esque, like Pokemon game, but it really has nothing to do with that at all. I mean, it's all these block designs, which why the comparison to Minecraft exists. But it's basically like it's you're on this island, and your boat approaches the island. It's like, oh, we've settled on this island, blah 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 blah, and basically you start the game by picking a starter. And it's like Pikachu, Eevee, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. So I picked Pikachu just because I really like Pikachu. And basically the game is just you have a party of 3 Pokemon, and you're running around killing other Pokemon, and you're like collecting rewards. And like the rewards are basically like gym slots. You sock it into your Pokemon, and like they get stronger and stronger, and they level up, and then eventually I think they evolve just like the regular Pokemon games. But it's basically like your mission is to go through the island and defeat all the enemies and collect all the rewards. It's like a little, it's just like a little battle, collect rewards, just get stronger and stronger. I mean, I've only played a few hours, but it's really intriguing. I did not think that I would really be into it as much as I am.
So it's the best game you've ever played?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, but it's weird because it kind of seems like a mobile game in a way, because you have like a resource management kind of thing where you have like a charge of 5 things. You can go on 5 missions, and you have to wait for the thing to refill before you can do another mission. But it never feels like I'm running out of resources though, which is nice. Because I think what's it, the Animal Crossing game on us? It's
mobile?
on iOS, yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It functions pretty similar to that in that you don't really feel like you need to buy leaf coins or whatever they're called. So I mean, it's fun.
That's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Jacob.
Yeah, I was shocked that I actually was into it, and I wanted to try it because it was free.
Nice.
So,
well, hey, while we're on the topic of Pokemon,
yeah,
Sam Harris has a little something to say about the new Pokemon games. I figure we might as well talk about them while we're on the subject. Sure. Sam says, "Hey, hello, boys, from the peachy keen, fine and dandy state of Georgia. It's your pal Sam from the Tar Heel State. So the new Pokemon game for Switch was announced this week, and I'm torn." Like the song Torn by Creed, I imagine.
Oh.
Shout out to that tune. He says, the mechanics and concepts seem interesting. Being able to simulate throwing a Pokeball and trading with friends is pretty cool, but the fact that it only encompasses the Kanto region is a little disappointing. As a Gen 1er, I have loved the years since the beginning, but I feel like the series is now going in a direction that I'm a little worried about. What are y'all's thoughts, and do you agree with my sentiments? Your answers are my lifeblood. Kisses and hugs from the fastest man alive. Preston, you want to take point on this one?
I don't think you should be worried because, and I think when Nintendo, when they had this Pokemon reveal event, I think they knew people were going to be worried for this game, and that's why they immediately came out and said that the 2019 game was going to be a core Pokemon game, you know, like the other ones. And this is very much just almost like an offshoot to get the people that might not have played a Pokemon game earlier that were into Pokemon Go. This would be a good stepping stone into the series. So I think that if this just isn't your type of a Pokemon game that you're really interested in or whatever, then I mean, just skip it and know you'll have something more up your alley next year.
I would think of it as, you know, in between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, received all these kind of like side games like Kingdom Hearts,
Drop Distance,
Birth by Sleep, and all that stuff. I would think of it kind of like that. Like you have your core Pokemon games, and you have this little Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, kind of like the little side bit.
I don't know if that's necessarily a good comparison, because those spin-off games are supposed to be very much, well, they're supposed to be part of like the core franchise, moving the story along.
This is the thing though, like about the Let's Go games. I feel like they're actually going to be Pokemon games. Like there's little clips of battling and, you know, fighting trainers and whatnot. I mean, we still don't know a whole lot of details, but I think it might just be the capturing Pokemon that's going to be really different.
Yeah.
And I don't know like how the relationship between Go and the Switch game will be.
You know, I like that Pokeball.
The 2019 Switch game, or
this one? No. I'm talking about the Let's Go Pikachu Eevee.
How the app is going to be?
Yeah, because it's going to be like you can take Pokemon from Let's Go or Pokemon Go and then put them into Let's Go. So
yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to use them on your team or if it's just like, oh, we
I don't
can
see why
them.
Not. What would be the point if you couldn't?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we just don't know a whole lot of details yet on what these games are.
I think it's something cool, something that we can get. It's just something this year that might whet your appetite if you're longing for a Pokemon game on the Switch. And like I said, if this looks too dumbed down or not like the Pokemon game you had hoped for, then I mean, just wait till next year.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not saying Sam Harris is like this at all, but I've seen a lot of people having meltdowns because of this game, and I'm like, guys, take a chill pill. Like your game is coming next year. This isn't the direction I think that the Pokemon franchise is going to be heading in.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it might.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
I could very well see like the Pokemon Go just throwing Pokeballs to capture Pokemon being the next like mainline Pokemon game.
I would highly doubt that. Highly doubt it.
I don't want it at all, but I could see it.
I think that this is they could potentially be just two different things going forward. I mean, that's why this is a Let's Go game. They're tying it in with the app, whereas next year it's a core Pokemon RPG.
Right. Yeah, I would like that idea. I'd welcome it. To be two different kinds of Pokemon experiences, and if they could do it like every other year, that'd be insane.
Yeah,
that would keep all kinds of Pokemon fans happy.
I agree.
I'm gonna play it.
Same.
I'm going with Eevee.
No, I'm gonna play it too. I think it looks cool.
I'm going with Pikachu.
That's all right. Who are you gonna go with, Preston?
I would do Eevee if you could evolve Eevee, but you can't.
You can't evolve Eevee?
You can't evolve the starters.
I'll probably do Pikachu as well.
But Pikachu can evolve. Is he not considered a starter?
No.
That's weird.
I mean, he is a starter, but you can't evolve him. You can
catch another Pikachu. I just think Eevee's adorable.
You can catch another Eevee or Pikachu and evolve that one, but you can't evolve the ones that are like, that's your companion.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I thought you were just saying
no.
Pikachu couldn't evolve, period.
No. Right, Raichu is badass.
I see what you're saying. Well, that's cool.
But yeah, that's what I played on the Switch this week. I played more Overwatch. I've been there, talked about that. Nothing new there. Played a little more Destiny. Just fooled around there for a little bit, and I played on stream for the first time Rise of the Tomb Raider this week.
Yeah. Woo!
And very cool. Obviously very related to Uncharted. The game opens up with like a huge climbing scene, which I immediately thought of Uncharted. Like I haven't felt that same way since I was playing Uncharted, which is a good thing because I really enjoy those kind of, action adventure treasure hunting games. It's a genre that I really fell in love with especially Uncharted 4. Really great game. But I'm only a few hours in. I killed like my first bear, and that's where I kind of ended the stream. So I got to like that first little hub area where you just have like your campfire and you go around and collect stuff. So
Gotcha.
Very-
once you get past
very early on.
once you get past the area you're in, then it starts to really differentiate itself
Mhm.
from the Uncharted series. It starts to open up a ton. There are two very pretty massive hub areas past the part that you're at, with side quests that you can partake in, optional tombs to go explore in,
Oh, that's cool.
etc. So yeah, it definitely
So
expands.
are there like NPCs that you get quests from, or are they like?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yep.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that.
So I can see from the beginning, from the part you're at right now, I can totally see it definitely does take some things from Uncharted, but it very much, like I said, separates itself from just an Uncharted clone. Once the game actually it opens up, it feels very different.
Yeah, and there's a surprising amount of like narrative backstory happening within like the first few hours of the game. So
Yeah.
I'm enjoying how much they're throwing at me, as odd as that sounds, instead of having just tons of gameplay at the start. So I will have more thoughts on that as the weeks go by.
Rad.
And that's all I played this week.
Nice,
Cool,
man.
man.
What'd you play,
Cool,
Preston?
man.
I saw you playing something random last night. Can't remember what it
Oh
was.
yeah. What was that?
That, or it was last night or the night before.
I saw this guy on Fallout this weekend.
Fallout.
I've been playing a lot of Fallout. I was playing a lot of Fallout before the 76 reveal, and since the reveal, I've been playing even more Fallout because that's all I am even
I can imagine.
interested in right now. Gaming wise, my brain is just all about Fallout.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for this reveal? Or this, what the game actually is like.
Oh, I'm a solid 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Excited.
That's cool.
Yeah, just anything Fallout. I think it was just I was so, when Bethesda tweeted out the please stand by thing, I didn't expect to get anything Fallout related, period.
Yeah, I don't think
for
anyone did.
what, like 5-6 years.
Right.
So
Like
just
after Elder Scrolls.
or just I didn't even expect Elder Scrolls to be the next thing. I knew that they had stated a few years ago that they were working on just multiple projects right now, and I, along with tons of other people, just assumed that we would be seeing their new IP this E3. The rumored Starfield game that had been trademarked. So yeah, just seeing anything Fallout period has just made me unbelievably excited, and we'll discuss what it probably is going to be based on a bunch of these leaks coming out. But yeah, my mind's just purely set on Fallout. Can't wait to see just what it is next Sunday at Bethesda's press conference.
Yeah. So are you like playing
I'm
through Fallout 4 again, or are you like doing mods this time around? Like, what are you doing to make it a new experience? Is I guess what I'm asking.
I'm playing through Fallout 4 being as big a dick as possible. I haven't done that yet, so I'm just being rude to everybody. Just if anybody irritates me, I'm just killing them. So I'm trying to play a evil playthrough.
I got you
in that game. But I'm also playing Fallout 3 as well, and I'm just purely playing through that game as a good karma guy. And I know I've already talked about Fallout 3, but the feeling that game gives me is just, I love it so much. No other game can give me a feeling. It's just the atmosphere of Fallout 3, it's just even like the color of that game, just listening to Galaxy News Radio and just running around the wasteland just is so nostalgic and fun and just amazing to me. And I just love that game so much. So I've been playing that again, and I had one game on my backlog. I've had it on my backlog for years, and I've always thought it looked awesome, and I've heard it was awesome, but I only started playing it, I believe since the beginning of this week, and I can confirm it is indeed very badass. If there was like one thing to slap on the box of this game, it would be just badass, plain and simple. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
That's what I saw you playing.
Really?
Yeah, dude, that game is so badass. Again, for like the 5th time.
Tell me
so
more.
Fun. Yeah, it's just a spin-off from the Metal Gear series where you play as Raiden, the cyborg ninja guy.
Yeah.
It's developed by Platinum Games, and it at its core, it's just a very solid Platinum Games action game. But it has this mechanic where if you hold down the left trigger, it'll zoom in the camera over your shoulder, and it'll show you, and you can control the direction at which you cut.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get an enemy in like a dazed state, you can go up to him and you'll like kick him into the air and jump up after him, and the game will go in slow motion. And you can there'll be like a square on the enemy, and you just have to line up your slice with that square, and you'll like cut him in half, and you'll grab. I'm going to be honest, I've been kind of in and out of the story. So there are these like blue centipede looking things inside of the enemies, and you grab them out from the enemy if you cut them correctly, and you like squeeze it in your hand, and it gives you all your health back, and your bar depletes as you use this power to cut people precisely, and it refills it if you correctly do it. But it's just doing that, kicking some dude into the air, leaping over him, and going into that mode, and you're just like slicing him to a million pieces, and just correctly parrying somebody and it going into that as well. And the game indicates it by if the enemies have their specific body parts are glowing blue or something, it shows that those parts can be cut off. So you can go into that mode and just cut a dude's arm off and he'll fight differently, or you can cut his legs off and he'll be crawling after you. And it just, the way you do it, it just is so cinematic and looks just so awesome. And the boss, I just fought this boss named Monsoon. It was a very long fight. This dude was a ninja with size, and just the entire boss fight, he was throwing helicopters and tanks at me, and I was having to slice them in half before they got to me. It was just something absolutely insane and crazy, action-packed, and just ridiculous, but so freaking awesome. So
that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it is so cool, and I've bought it forever ago. Like it's dirt cheap. You can find it anywhere. Just like on pretty Humble Bundle or anything like that for almost nothing. And yeah, I've been wanting to play this ever since it initially came out on 360, but it's been on my backlog. I think it came out in 2013. So it's been on my backlog forever, and I just had the urge to play it this past week, and I'm glad I did. It's a whole lot of fun, and there's customization and different weapons and upgrades and different skills you can unlock. So from it looks like it can get fairly deep in customization and everything too. So yeah, very, very cool game. The only problem is I don't think it's the best PC port. I have to actually set the resolution of my screen to 1080 because the game can only play in 1080p.
Ew, 1080?
Yeah, I know, disgusting. But it has to be in borderless window to go above 30 frames per second.
I hate borderless window.
So yeah, that's the only thing that says. I'm sure there's a way that I can mod it or do something to make it completely full screen, but I've just been playing it in borderless window, and I get over it after about a minute of playing. So, but yeah, I've been playing that. I think that's pretty much the only stuff that I've played this week. If I played anything else, it probably was for just a little bit. Like I said, I have so much stuff that I'm trying. Like I just remember talking to you guys that I have to finish Gears of War. I was having so much fun playing that. I need to go back and finish that campaign. But I think Fallout pretty much just the hype for that took over, and we have Vampire coming out this Tuesday, which I'm so excited to play. So I don't even know if I can finish Gears of War before that even comes out. But yeah, that's pretty much anything involving video games that happened to me this week.
Yeah.
How about you, Garrett? What have you been playing?
Oh, I've been playing Vampire all week for COD Connected. My review will be live today if you're listening on Monday, the 5th. It will be live 6 p.m. Eastern. That makes it 3 p.m. Pacific time. All reviews go live then, so that'll be available. Our video review will be out at the same time, so I can't really say anything about it. I don't want to risk breaking embargo like every time I talk about anything I've played, but I'm excited to talk about it. We're not going to have a podcast next week because of E3, but we will be doing E3 coverage like we always do. So I can't really talk about it for 2 weeks essentially, but all my thoughts are in that video review that will be out tomorrow. So yeah, that's all I played this week. But I'm going to jump into Assassin's Creed as soon as E3 wraps up. It's going to be the first game I get into. I want to play that, like I talked about. Uncharted Lost Legacy. Something else that I've already forgotten. This is why I can't ever play games, because I can't even remember what I need to play in the first place.
Oh, I forgot to mention I played Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah, I thought we talked about that at the beginning. A little bit. You've been playing like the little demo online version.
It's called the online tournament demo or something.
Yeah.
Basically, there's like a little tutorial at the beginning. Then you face an AI to get used to it. Then you jump right into playing people online, and it's quite more complex than I thought it was going to be, for sure. It's definitely very fun, and I can't wait to see what the story mode entails, for sure.
I'm thrilled for it.
But it's definitely really fun. I recommend a lot of people pick it up because I think it's going to be just as fun as something like Mario Kart is. So
wonderful. Yeah, I didn't play anything else, so that's it.
Is Nier on your backlog?
Yeah, Nier's on there as well. I think I put that one on there. That's probably one of the ones I listed. Other than video games, though, I did see Solo finally, and
Nice. I
was pleasantly surprised, man. I think it's awesome. Now, it's not perfect by any means. There's definitely some issues with it, but I liked it a lot because I told you it was hilarious. Me and Casey were making fun of it in the theater before it even started. And we really, really enjoyed it a lot. I mean, we just had huge smiles on our faces the entire time. So definitely
I'm seeing more people come out and say they enjoyed it since like the week is since it's died down.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised by the reviews are a lot of 7 out of 10s, which I think is appropriate. I'd probably give it about like a 7.5, 8 out of 10, but it was just super. I know people consider this like a bad thing to say nowadays, but I mean it when I say it's just a very fun movie. The entire thing is entertaining. It's a great adventure film. It's a very small story in the Star Wars universe, which I'm really into when it comes to any big franchise. Like I told you with my Batman games, I hate it when it's like the whole city is going to blow up, the world's ending. I hate that. I prefer the smaller stories. Yeah. So that's why I really like Solo, and all the performances were great. I thought Alden Ehrenreich was great, even after all the rumors coming out like, oh, he needed an acting coach and he's not nailing the part and blah blah blah. And even in the trailers, I was a little concerned about how it looked, but he really killed it. It was awesome. Yeah. Totally bought by the end of the movie that he was Han Solo. Of course, he doesn't really look or even sound like Harrison Ford, but he definitely embodies the character with his actions and some of the stuff he says and everything. So
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So like all the headlines right now are like they're disappointed in how this movie did, even though it's making so much money. Like more than most movies do. Yeah,
more than most, but in the grand scheme of things, for Star Wars, it's very little, and also due to all the reshoots and the behind-the-scenes drama they had, I think it was well over $300 million by the end.
Right. So my question is, do you think this movie's not doing as well because of the success or disappointment, depending what side you're on, of The Last Jedi, or do you think it's because like the Infinity War just came out, and all these people have been going to the movies like the last month, and they're
three
kind of
things.
Tired of it.
It's 3 things. Last Jedi is a big part of it. That's why I didn't see it until the following week. I almost did not go see it. I almost did not go see it because of how much I hated Last Jedi. And again, let me clarify: there's a lot of stuff I like in Last Jedi, but overall, I just do not like it.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only friend I have that likes to go see Star Wars movies,
right?
And I guess Preston does enjoy it too.
But that's definitely there's definitely. At the very least, a very vocal minority that did not go see it, because some may even see a majority. It literally does seem like a 50-50 split on Last Jedi, so that's definitely a part of it. I don't think that's all of it. I think also Deadpool and Infinity War just came out.
Yeah, which I saw both of.
Yeah, and general audiences probably don't go to movies 3 weekends in a row.
Right.
I mean, I will. I'll go multiple times a week to the movies, but not everyone does that. So that's definitely part of it as well. And also the behind the scenes drama. There's also people that may not even be. There may be people that love Last Jedi. They may go into Solo and think, well, I heard this movie's a piece of crap because of all the behind the scenes stuff. So I'm not going to go see it. That could be part of it. Multiple factors at bay.
I'd like to say is the timing is the one thing that stands out to me. It's being the biggest problem. And
there are people out there that say that they're not even remotely interested in either Han Solo as a character in general or just seeing a Han Solo movie. They prefer that when he's teaming up with other people. I don't know.
I'm just surprised. Like, it seems like so many people are against the idea of making a Han Solo movie. So I don't understand why they went through with it.
I was initially. I think they went through with it for multiple reasons. George Lucas pitched the idea back in 2012 before he even sold the rights of Star Wars to Disney. And I think he was talking about it long before that as well. And Lawrence Kasdan and his brother both. This has been a dream project of theirs for a long time, and they defended the script at the very end. Apparently, the way the movie is presented is essentially the way the script has always been. So good on them for that.
Was that good? Did you like how it was
the movie? Yeah, I thought, like I said, it's a small story, but I really did like it a lot. It's really about the characters. It isn't really about the grand, bigger story surrounding the characters.
I'm kind of surprised because nothing in Star Wars is usually small.
Yeah, it's about these characters learning who they're going to be in this greater universe, and a lot of great set pieces, a lot of hilarious moments. It's funny because, when Phil Lord and Chris Miller were originally directing the movie, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to be like a comedy in Star Wars. And I was worried when they brought on Ron Howard and reshot 70% of the movie that it wouldn't kind of maintain that comedic element, but it certainly does. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a comedy, but there's a lot of good humor in it. Humor that I think works in the Star Wars universe versus some of the more modern jokes we saw in Last Jedi with like your mother jokes and like they're talking on the phone and stuff. It's just ridiculous. I hated that. That's what I'm going to say. I hate Last Jedi. It's little things like that I didn't like. But the humor in Solo, I think, works for Star Wars. And the majority of the characters are great. Some of whom I think could have used a lot more screen time for me to even give a crap about them at all. But the main cast of characters I really did enjoy a lot, especially the Han and Chewie dynamic. And I thought Donald Glover was great as Lando as well. The Millennium Falcon was really cool, seeing it in its original state and how it ends up and the shape it's in by the end of the movie. And there isn't too much more I can say without spoiling some of the good stuff, but I will say there is a freaking gnarly cameo in the movie that came out of nowhere, but makes total sense when you see it. But when it was revealed, man, I was so freaking pumped. I cannot believe that they did what they did. So that alone, I would say, even if you hate the idea of the movie and you think it's going to be terrible, at least go see it for that if you're even remotely a Star Wars fan, because it was really awesome. And I'm very excited about the future of these standalone movies. Will they make a Solo sequel based off of the success of this one? At the moment, I would highly doubt it, but I think they can still tell stories around that same time period that sort of connect to Solo, because parts of Solo don't necessarily connect to Rogue One, but they definitely have hints of certain characters or bits of dialogue that hint towards Rogue One that happens about a decade later after this movie. So overall, man, really, really pleasantly surprised. Me and Casey had a great time in the movies. We actually went in a little grumpy because something was bothering us. I can't remember what it was, but we came out just totally happy about it. And we're talking about it for like an hour after we saw it.
Nice.
So yeah, man, I love stuff like that. I like being proved wrong and being surprised by something. And it was genuinely a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the rumors are true, you got Obi-Wan and Boba Fett being rumored around. So
I certainly hope so, man.
I would like room for each of them.
I would lose my mind for Obi-Wan. I know everyone at this point is expecting it to come at some point, but Ewan McGregor is available. God. He's willing. If he's still in a prime age to do it.
I'm not seeing it if he's not in that movie.
I think it's funny. I've seen some comments that say, "Help us, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope." Because at this point, people are saying, "Have Solo tanks," and everyone hated Last Jedi. That, "Oh, help us, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope." To kind of bring the fan base back together. But apparently,
people have always wanted to know what he did.
And that's the thing. There is so much potential for that time period that I feel like it's hard to screw it up. So whether it's a trilogy or just a movie that spans a certain amount of time, I don't know. But there's so much potential, and I hope they do it.
And it's perfect now because he's aged a little bit.
Yes, and they can make him look older if they need to, because look at the makeup abilities people have today. Mm-hmm. So look at Hugh Jackman and Logan. He looks like an old man, whereas in reality, he doesn't look nearly that old right now. Yeah.
Like so they can do it. Just give Obi-Wan a nice beard, and he'll look fantastic.
Give him his long hair, too. I like Obi-Wan with his long hair. Obviously, he ends up like, what's his name from New Hope eventually, but
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Logan, James Mangold is apparently attached to the Boba Fett movie they're producing, which I think could also be cool. Again, after seeing Solo and being proved wrong, I'm open to Disney doing these movies. I know we have Jon Favreau's TV series coming based, I think, roughly 3 years after Return of the Jedi, so I'm excited for that as well.
Is that scheduled for next year?
I think that's scheduled for Disney's streaming service, if I'm not mistaken.
When's that launching?
I think next year or the following year. I can't remember.
And that's where they're going to yank all their stuff off, like Netflix
and everything. Disney properties will be exclusively on their streaming service.
It's going to be the future. Every network's going to do that.
Probably, yeah. I would not be surprised.
We're going to be overwhelmed with subscription services.
Yeah, no, that's what that kind of bums me out. It's funny about people worrying about the whole net neutrality thing. Like, people are going to make you pay for all these things, when in reality, people are going to willingly pay for all these subscription services at some point. Unless there's some company that somehow buys them all and says, hey, for one monthly payment, you can have all these services. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, even though I was definitely disappointed with Last Jedi. Solo kind of encouraged me again, because I was just, my high for Star Wars was obliterated after Last Jedi. I did not care about anything, and I love Star Wars, and I wasn't forcing myself not to care. Just any care or hope I had for the franchise was just dead after that. But upon seeing Solo, I was reminded as to why I enjoy Star Wars, and I cannot wait for more. Nice. So yeah,
I'm glad you liked it.
Hopefully JJ bounces back with episode 9.
I surely hope so.
And rights the arguable wrongs with The Last Jedi. We'll see. Mm-hmm. But again, maybe we'll just I don't fault anyone for loving that movie, because there is some great stuff in it.
We're just going to look back one day, and The Last Jedi will just be like an interesting hump in the road. Maybe episode 9 will save the series.
We'll see. We'll see how well it ages. Yeah. Because Star Wars, for example, the original trilogy has aged very well, because just the dialogue and the comedy and the storylines are timeless in a sense, whereas Last Jedi has very modern jokes. In another 20 years, those jokes might not be funny anymore. That's why I see a movie like 21 Jump Street, for example, by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the reboot. That movie is freaking hilarious, especially for the modern times. Yeah. But I guarantee you in 15 years, the movie's not going to be funny anymore.
Probably not.
Because the jokes are tied to the time period, so it can't be timeless. That's the kind of stuff that disappointed me.
You never know which ones they are,
Yeah, so.
Like Dumb and Dumber.
But yeah, go see Solo if you're kind of on the edge about it or aren't so sure. I was very on the edge. I was making fun of it. And I was proved wrong. Really liked it. So that's what I did this week. That's it. Vampire and Solo.
Nice.
You guys want to jump into the news of the week?
I would really like Preston to bring us in.
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. This is the It's Obvious Gaming podcast, the show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games. Obviously, you can find all of our content, including the video version of this podcast, over at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. If YouTube is a good for you, or you'd like to take us on the go, you can find this podcast weekly on Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, Audio Boom, and other podcasting services. Please check the description down below for timestamps to skip the rest of the podcast, links to our social media pages, and anything else you would ever need to get in contact with us. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and be sure to like and comment down below to get involved with the It's Obvious community. Doing so helps us out tremendously, and we would forever be in your debt. With all that out of the way, hey man, what's the news?
Fallout 76 was announced. We're pretty excited, you and I especially, Preston. There are rumors abounding everywhere, leaks everywhere. No one knows what's exactly true. Everyone's speculating, predicting. Some people have determined exactly what it is and are freaking out about it, whether for better or worse. So, Preston, you have been keeping a keen eye on all details and leaks that have been floating around the interwebs, especially the ones a little more minute from
like 4chan
sources that may or may not be credible. And I trust you more than anyone else on the internet when you look up this kind of stuff, and you've been keeping an eye on it. I've been very busy. I haven't had a chance to really look into anything other than what you've sent me via text. So bring us up to speed with everything Fallout 76 that you know of, Preston, and tell us what you think it's going to be.
Yes, and to quote this hilarious joke on the internet, what happened to Fallout 5 through 75?
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, good one. So let's start from the beginning here. So Bethesda teased the Please Stand By image on their Twitter account, and shortly following that, I believe like 10 minutes, they started a live stream, which lasted about 24 hours, up until the point of Todd Howard coming out and revealing what the Maryland studio and the Austin studio, which was formerly Battlecry Studio, have been working on.
So quick
since Fallout 4.
confession here. How long were you watching that stream before you realized nothing was going to happen for a while?
At least 3 hours. I had it just on, and then once it was past around like 6 o'clock, I assumed they weren't going to make an announcement.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just figured it would be like the Fallout 4 announcement that was going to take place probably about 24 hours, since they, said something was going to happen. So leading up to this, I think everybody, including myself, assumed it was going to be a Fallout 3 port or remaster or something that involved Fallout 3 due to it being its 10-year anniversary coming up here this October. But after the live stream lasted as long as it did, I knew it had to have been something big, because if they were teasing something as small as just a Fallout 3 re-release or an update or something like that, then I think the live stream would have been just way overboard. But anyways, about a few hours, I believe, before 76 was actually revealed, Jason Schreier of Kotaku released some information that he had received from, I believe, 3 contacts within Bethesda, saying that it was not going to be a Fallout 3 remaster, but it was going to be an online Fallout game that was inspired by the likes of Rust and I believe Ark Survival. And then he proceeded to tweet about it, saying that if you were looking forward to a single-player Fallout game, then you were going to be disappointed, so keep your hype in check. And he pretty much, he says that he came out with all of that because with Bethesda accepting pre-orders for Fallout 76, he believed that the trailer did not really advertise what the game was actually going to be, if it was going to be an online game, which I can totally see, because, and you guys at any point, y'all can jump in, give your opinion on anything, but based on this trailer, not in a million years would I have told you that this was going to be an online Fallout game. What about y'all?
Yeah, I would have never guessed that. I mean, I was expecting another mobile game, in all honesty. Or, like you said, the Fallout 3 remaster. I had no idea that they were actually making another Fallout game of any kind to begin with. So it's quite surprising. What about you, Garrett? Is this what you imagine?
I don't really have anything to say about it, honestly. Just the trailer looks cool.
Okay.
I don't really know what to think, because so many people are saying so many different things, and I'm just kind of like, well, I'll see what it is when they reveal it. But I'm very excited for it because it's Fallout related.
I wasn't expecting to see anything Fallout related this E3 for sure, or coming out this year.
Well, pretty much the before I get into like the little leaks, the leaks that have come out that Jason Schreier, he's actually deleted some of his previous tweets. I believe the tweet that said that do not expect a single player game, he deleted that one. He said he should have thought about that one a little more carefully. So he updated all of this stuff on a massive Reddit post saying that this is still a Bethesda Game Studios game. It is very much story centered. There is still going to be questing, etc. And for people not to really think that it was going to just be like a straight Rust or Ark Survival clone with like a Fallout paint job slapped on top of it. So based on the leaks that we have seen, I think the only true thing that we can really take from it is that it is going to be an online game. We still don't know if it's going to be mainly focused online, if it's required online, if it's forced upon you. That's still yet to be seen, but there will be some sort of online component. There will be base building in this game, and there will still be questing, and it will still be story based. Those are the things that we can really probably like 95% sure say about this game, which I'm excited for. I know that Bethesda has said that they have always wanted to put an online aspect to all of their games in it, but once they start developing it, they tend to have to axe it. So I think if this is a very much just a Bethesda Game Studio Fallout game with maybe co-op implemented, where you and a buddy can just go running around, listening to the radio on your Pip-Boy, doing quests and collecting materials and building up your base, I think that sounds amazing, and I would be all for that. How does that sound to y'all?
Absolutely. I think that sounds fun. I mean, everything about Fallout 4 I really, really liked, even though some people could describe it as just an extension of Fallout 3 with better shooting mechanics and base building.
You especially liked the base building.
Yeah, I loved the base building, and I will undoubtedly dabble in Fallout 4 and PC some more just to build more bases, because I have all the mods on where I can just build anything I want at my leisure without having to scavenge for things. So I'll do that for fun. I was very proud of my fortress in Fallout 4, and even just that one aspect I'm excited for, even especially to do it with a buddy potentially in co-op. And especially me and Preston
like
have always
Minecraft or something.
Yeah, Preston and I have always fantasized about co-op in a traditional Fallout experience, or when I say traditional, like Fallout 3 and 4 and New Vegas to an extent. And we, like we talked about, we would talk in an Xbox party for hours and just tell each other where quests are and what we were up to, and be able to actually do that together is very exciting. Now, whether it's co-op or bigger than that, say up to 4 people or something, I don't know. I'm all for that. I think it sounds great. If it's like a traditional Fallout experience that we know and love with co-op elements, I think that sounds awesome. So, and just the time period and stuff too, which Preston can bring us up to speed on. But I think it sounds fun. I'm excited about it. If that's even remotely true.
No, I think that's the biggest thing, though, is that this is still a Bethesda Game Studios game. I don't think they're just going to just try something so drastically different, force online on everybody playing this game, especially after Bethesda's big save single player campaign thing that they did, that joke they did last year about save the single player. Like, I just can't see them making this MMO like Fallout game that some people are freaking out that it could potentially be. So I just
gotta imagine it's gonna have lots of Fallout elements, just like the Fallout mainline games have, just gonna be different in other ways.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine. Almost this is almost like the same argument that people are having about Pokemon Let's Go. This is a departure from the mainline series, so I think that's going to allow them a little bit of liberty to experiment with some things. That if this was like Fallout 5, then I would be concerned, and I could totally see the people the freak out, some of the freakouts that I'm seeing. I would totally understand where they're coming from if this was Fallout 5, a part of the mainline series. But with nobody expected we were going to be getting anything Fallout, period. So I'm just happy to see we're getting something Fallout related, even if it is, hopefully just a little bit different than what we expect. But
for sure. Yeah, maybe the series needs this, change up, because a lot of people were disappointed with 5.
People have been talking about when we heard that Bethesda acquired the rights for Fallout and they were developing it into a first-person shooter RPG. Fans of the original of Fallout 1 and 2 were freaking out that the Fallout series was dead. Bethesda was killing it with Fallout 3. And now it's just, that's what Fallout is now.
Yeah. So what kind of games were those, like Fallout 1 and 2?
They were just isometric, just classic PC RPGs.
Yeah, so maybe this, like, in a way, is a callback to that. I don't know. Maybe it will be.
No. I don't think so. I mean, like, what do you mean?
I mean, it could be, I don't know what I mean. Just move on.
Okay. I don't think it will be, but so there were some leaks that I don't think necessarily have any validity in them. I know some of the leakers actually had predicted that Fallout 76 was going to be the title of it and everything. So I'm just going to read off some of the most popular leaks that gained up the most traction from people who say they have sources. So this was on Reddit from a 4chan leaker saying, and I'm just going to go through them really quick, and I'm just going to see if what you guys think about it. It's open world, improvised weapons and base building centered. Will feature a scavenger from the surface as a main character, hence why Vault seems empty other than the main character in the trailer. Co-op, but not MMO or Rust-like. Bethesda are in panic mode at these rumors and want to release further info soon to cut it off. Expect a leak from a more reputable source soon. It's based along the interstate in Northern Virginia, still an RPG, upgraded Fallout 4 creation engine. Strong emphasis on building and improvised weapons will come with the phone app. It is not Rust-like. Internal Bethesda communication seems to be worried that this will lead to the hype in the wrong direction. A voiced protagonist is back. There will be 6 factions, 3 of which are notables that we have seen in previous games. Herald will make an appearance. There will be a lot of retconning, which retconning there some of the original Fallout lore will be replaced. They're going to be laying groundwork for Fallout 5, which is apparently already in the works. Fallout 4, the build system, this was testing for this game. There will be no external mods outside of Creation Club. So me personally, I don't know if I buy all of that. I would be surprised if just a Fallout game wouldn't allow external mods, because that's a very big part of Bethesda games. So that's a little interesting to me if that actually is true. Also in this leak, it says the next Elder Scrolls title will be revealed at this E3, and I think that's the big red flag siren going off that I think makes all of this not true.
Yeah.
And I could have egg on my face if it actually is revealed, but I cannot see the next Elder Scrolls 6 being revealed at this E3. Like I said, when Todd Howard, or it was either Todd Howard or Pete Hines, sat down with Jeff Keighley a couple of years ago, there were like 2 or 3 projects before the Elder Scrolls was even going to be released, and I think those included even new IPs. So I still think the Elder Scrolls 6 is still a long ways away. So that kind of seems a little off to me personally.
Yeah, I don't think we see it on PS4 for sure. I think it'll be the next console.
Oh, Elder Scrolls?
Yeah.
That would be I would not be surprised by that at all. So then there's another leak. This one is saying that the voice protagonist is optional. Gameplay is still RPG, proper skills are back, emphasis on building. He goes into just there's no super mutants, blah blah blah. Pretty much that seems to be the typical what I just said. The next leak pretty much just reiterates what I said. So that also could validate some of the things that all the leaks are somewhat consistent. Then again, it could just be a bunch of copycats just regurgitating the exact same thing. That's why it's just, you don't know. But the only thing that these leaks have in common with the Jason Schreier leaks is that it's building focused and there is an online component to it. So that's really all we can take from it. And if there is a reputable leak here in the next couple of days, then maybe we can look back to that leak and see and have another take on it, because that aspect will have been true from what he said. So, but anyways, besides all the leaking stuff is exciting and stuff, but none of it really matters until Bethesda actually reveals what this game is and everything on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm incredibly excited just to see Fallout, just to see the press conference in general. And I think this game is going to be a big deal. I think this is going to be their flagship title for this year. One Amazon listing had this game coming out July 31st, which typically the last date in the month is typically a placeholder date, but July 31st is a Tuesday. And the more I thought about it, the more it kind of made sense to me, putting out a Fallout game before this very crowded holiday season. Could you imagine how much? I mean, Fallout's going to sell
it'd explode
crazy
if it came out in July.
Yeah,
So there's nothing else coming out.
Exactly, just through
Besides
August.
full Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, but I mean,
We gotta be honest though, Octopath Traveler could obliterate Fallout for all we know.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe on the Switch. That's something I wanted to ask. Do you think because Bethesda's been supporting the Switch so much, is there a chance that it launches day and date the same on the Switch as everything else?
No, I don't.
If we think the game's going to be like what we think it is.
No, I don't, because I don't believe that the Switch can handle this new the Fallout 4 engine. I don't believe it can handle that. And I believe that's why Fallout 3 Anniversary is going to come to Switch this year.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of my predictions for Bethesda, that'll be their little cherry on top of all the 76 news. They'll be like, also, there's one more thing, and that they'll reveal the anniversary version of Fallout 3 for sure.
Yeah, I believe that PC will get an update as well. People have been finding that there is a 5 to 6 gigabyte update in the works. There's like a website you can go to see things that are about to come to Steam, and there is an update for Fallout 3 in the works that is supposed to be coming. So I think that'll be their sorry Switch guys, but here's a Fallout for you.
Yeah,
might be a good time to jump into Fallout 3 for myself.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Especially if imagine if they just say it's out today, Fallout 3 Anniversary.
That'd be pretty wild.
That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty wild. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all the info that in just my thoughts about 76 for now. So just incredibly interesting. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what this thing is. And back to my previous point, I think this is just, when I initially heard it, of it just being, oh, it's just an online Fallout, it seems just like a little side story or just what's the word I'm looking for? Just a side take on crap. What am I trying to say? Just a spin-off. That's the phrase I'm looking for. Just a spin-off title, but man, they're putting in a ton of advertisement down at E3. They're taking up like the picture I sent you, Garrett. I believe it's on our Discord as well, of the 3 buildings overlooking the center that are Fallout themes. Like it definitely seems like that they're putting a lot of advertisement money into this and everything. And I think it's, like I said, it's going to be their big title for this year. So, but yeah, can't wait.
Likewise.
Cool stuff.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey was also leaked. 76 itself wasn't a leak. It was obviously an announcement, but there are leaks surrounding it. But speaking of leaks, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it exists. Ubisoft confirmed it. They said see at E3, and they have a Spartan assassin, I assume kicking a Roman soldier, a Greek soldier, something off of a cliff.
Are we at all concerned that it's coming out just a year after Origins? Do you think we have do we think they have like a formula now down?
I think that this one has been in development for a similar amount of time that Origins was, and maybe not quite that long.
Yeah, because they do have different studios working on different creeds, right?
And Ashraf Ishmael has confirmed he is not working on this one, so it's a different branch of Ubisoft. I'm interested to find out which one, or just I mean, obviously Ubisoft. I know they have Ubisoft Montreal and the other studios, so. I assume this has been in development for at least a few years. I would imagine it apparently takes place in ancient Greece. I read.
Setting could be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greece is a cool place.
So, especially I just hear everyone who really loves Origins, and I'd like to hear from you too, Preston, say that they're incredibly excited for this because Origins was so good. And if that's the stepping stone going into Odyssey and beyond, people are very excited for it. And that's why Origins is my main priority post E3, is because I want to get through that, especially now that I know Odyssey's coming. Mm-hmm. So, Preston, how do you feel about this announcement?
I'm pumped. I'm honestly, I I was surprised that we were even getting a new one this year. I thought they were going to start doing it every 2 years. Just since Origins was received so well, I thought they would be taking the additional time to make sure it was up to that quality. But I am extremely excited. I think that's a really cool time period. I think we all assumed after finishing once you finish Assassin's Creed Origins, it makes perfect sense for it to go straight into Odyssey.
Yeah,
I believe
there are rumors about this being a direct sequel. So
yeah, I would bet a lot of money that is the case. I heard that Bayek and I forgot her name, his wife, are going to be in this game
cool.
as side characters, which would make a ton of sense again if you finished Origins. And I know there's going to be actual conversational choices, and there would be a bigger emphasis on ship combat and sailing than there were in Origins.
That's
which,
awesome.
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of meh about.
Dude,
I'm a little
Assassin's Creed 4 is so good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over that, honestly. There were a few missions in Origins that you had to pilot the boat and participated in some sea combat, and those were my least favorite parts of the game. I would much rather, not that it's bad, it's just like when I'm playing Assassin's Creed game, I would much rather be parkouring and sneaking and doing that part of the game than sailing a ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, but typically I'm sure it's not going to be, even in Black Flag, it was definitely a big part of the game, but there was still plenty of the typical Assassin's Creed gameplay. So it's not that big of a deal, but, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see more Assassin's Creed. I don't know if it's even coming out this year either. Something I said, or something I saw, said that it was just before the end of this fiscal year, I believe, which is in February.
It'd be very strange. For
I was going to guess, like, will they want to release this fall, or like late fall, or going into winter, or do you think it'll land maybe early next year, perhaps?
I would think early next year, just because, like I said, this holiday season is so freaking crowded. But then again, Assassin's Creed is typically one of those games. They're one of the powerhouse hitters that other games are trying to, get out of the way of.
Does Ubisoft have a fall title? Because if not, I feel like that would be it. Maybe a Splinter Cell. I mean,
they do
I don't know.
Splinter Cell. No, I'm just kidding.
That's their early
for
spring
Splinter Cell's sake. If there needs to be a fall title, then they need to swap Assassin's Creed with Splinter Cell and put it out early next year, because who knows how that game would do coming out this holiday season.
Yeah, I feel like Splinter Cell would get swallowed easier than Assassin's Creed.
Oh, for sure. Oh, without a doubt, for sure. Yeah, but looks cool, man. I'm always up for more Assassin's Creed, especially after Origins. Freaking fantastic game.
Yeah, and we're forgetting about the Division 2. We don't know when that's coming out.
Oh, that's coming out this year.
Yeah,
that's their
fall game. Is that confirmed
game.
This year?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's their fall game then.
Well, cool, man.
Sweet.
EA Motive is reportedly working on a new Star Wars game, which is horrifying coming off of Battlefront 2's campaign, because they did indeed work on the campaign side of the game, and that blew anus.
It had promise, but it fell apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like after the second mission.
It was very bad. So
the first mission was really good.
Yeah, so I am not interested at all in what they're working on, but hopefully they do.
I feel
well.
bad. I played the first 3 missions and I texted you. I was like, guys, this is pretty good. Then it just falls off a cliff pretty much after this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally disastrous, but whatever they're working on now, I hope it is better than that, at the very least, for Star Wars' sake. Mm-hmm. So that's cool, I guess. Bungie has joined NetEase. I'm going to read a little excerpt from their announcement joining the service and kind of their plans for Destiny. And I kind of want to get Jacob's perspective on this specifically, because I don't have many thoughts, but I thought it's an interesting story for them to release. And it almost sounds like a safety net of some sort, perhaps, based on the current climate of the Destiny 2 community and just the game in and of itself. But they say, today, we're excited to announce that we've entered into a new partnership with NetEase to help us explore new directions. You okay over there?
Yeah.
If you need me to do
I'm all stocked up
CPR,
over here.
I'm prepared.
I'm sorry, I do want to say really quick, I was just looking it up just to make sure, but there is no confirmation that Division 2 is coming out before the end of this year. I thought I saw that.
I had a feeling it might come out around the same time it did a couple years ago, like March-ish.
That's when I
In
wanted.
March. Yeah, it is slated to come out by the end of this fiscal year. That's what I read. So not this year, which the fiscal year I believe is March, not February.
Yeah, it's early March.
March. Yep.
Sweet, dude. Bungie
Sorry
says,
to interrupt.
That's all right. We've entered a new partnership with NetEase to help explore new directions. With their industry expertise, they'll empower us to build new worlds and invite players, new and old, to join us there. They'll help us support separate teams inside Bungie to bring our newest ambitions to life. If you're a player of Destiny, this news won't impact the hobby you've come to know. Destiny is an experience that will grow for many years to come. We'll continue to work with our partners at Activision to foster this global community and turn new players from all over the world into Guardians. Our commitment to that world is not diminished by this announcement. We have exciting plans for the future of the Destiny franchise, and you'll learn more about the next steps we'll take together in the weeks to come. Sounds like a cult they're trying to initiate people in when they're like, we're going to turn new players from all over the world into Guardians. Yeah. In your dreams, man. But how do you feel about this, Jacob? What does this mean to you? Does this sound to you like they're going to... I mean, they claim in this message, we're going to continue to support Destiny for years to come. That's a quote.
I don't necessarily think it's like a safety net. I just feel like it's a business making a good decision. You know,
apparently they're going to explore maybe possibly creating new IP through joining us. They say they have teams working on new ideas.
That would be interesting from Bungie.
Yeah,
and from
I'd like to see them return to form with a traditional shooter, even if it's sci-fi perhaps, but not as multiplayer focused as Destiny is.
Yeah,
and see how they fare.
So you mean just like the PvE elements of
Destiny, just like really double down on a solid campaign, strong characters with a fun story, and just really, really good. I mean, Destiny's multiplayer is fun. I like it. Okay. I think Crucible's good. I liked it more in Destiny 1 than Destiny 2, but maybe they could bring back some of the talent they had. No, I won't say talent. That's not the right word, but some of the pizzazz they had with the Halo trilogy originally. Granted, many of Destiny's employees did not even work on Halo. A lot of them are gone or with 343 now. So, I don't know, but that's an interesting announcement. I thought that was worth mentioning.
I mean, all I know is that tomorrow, this coming Tuesday, is
their year 2 reveal live stream. Yep.
I will be watching.
At least some of
it. I have to go to work.
I can't remember if I'm working that day or not. I'll probably tune in. Why not? But Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/Bungie. They're revealing the year 2 details for Destiny 2. Hopefully...
They say they have a lot of exciting things to announce. So.
Hopefully it pumps me up, because Preston has officially sent me the PC code for Destiny. And if this gets me excited, maybe I'll crank out some...
it's a long grind.
I don't know, man. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
Actually, it's 30 at this point. You got to level up to 30.
The reason why is because I had to play through Destiny 2's opening, I think, 5 different times for whatever reasons. I had to play, not 5 times, it was 4 times, I think. I had to play through it originally at the console media event, and then I had to play through it again on my own for the review. Then I had to play through it a 3rd time on PC.
Yeah, you've played that first story mission several times.
The first 3 hours of Destiny 2 I've played, I think, 3 times. So, and I think I played it a 4th time because I made an additional Guardian for some reason. So I can't bring myself to do that again. I wish I could just skip all that.
Like I said, probably with year 2, there will be a consumable or something that'll just...
Yeah, that kind of ranks you up to that
they did
point.
Taken Key.
In that case, I hope it's awesome.
I only hope for the best for Destiny. I don't like seeing it like this, but do I have a lot of faith? I'm unsure at this point. So that'll probably be a huge topic next week when we're on the podcast. Well, we don't have a podcast next week.
We don't.
So this is just gonna get forgotten.
We'll talk about it the following week. So maybe you guys will even mention it during the E3 coverage offhandedly if you're waiting for an event to start or something.
I predict I'll be happy. I think they're gonna come through.
I believe in Bungie. I don't doubt them. Despite the disappointments I faced with the Destiny franchise, I think Bungie's still really strong. So fingers crossed for that one.
Yeah. There are early, the little picture they posted with the image of the description of what this is. It looks like we're going back to the reef potentially. So maybe it's going to have something to do with that. There was a purple hue and all the rocks and how the reef looks as all the the space clutter and all that.
But why can't we go to Neptune or Jupiter or something? Why do we
Or
have to go back to the
Pluto.
damn reef?
Maybe there's a good reason this time.
We'll see. Maybe we'll go to a new galaxy.
Maybe. I'd highly doubt that.
What if we went to the fallen homeworld?
That'd be cool.
Something like that?
Yeah.
We'll see. We have news concerning Wolfenstein 3 from Isaac Monteros of COD Connected. He says, at an industry event, game designer Andreas Ojafors, I'm definitely pronouncing that incorrectly, at Machine Games shared that the team is going to, quote, play with the series format and could possibly be shown at E3 2 years into the future. The designer said, or explained that the Wolfenstein team would like to do, quote, something different with the next installment in the franchise. And they say, not because it's necessary, but because we would like to do something different. And he goes on to say it'll very much still be a first-person shooter. They just want to kind of probably experiment with the way they tell the story, the way how some of the mission structure works in the game. I don't know.
I imagine
it wasn't very specific, but he said it'll be a shooter like they've always been. That's what they're always going to do. He said even if they worked on Tetris, they'd make it a first-person shooter.
Yeah, I always kind of wish that I had more reasons to stick around in the Wolfenstein universe, because you just play the campaign, then you're just done. And I've always wanted just to play it more, but not enough to play through the game again.
I get that. Yeah, I think both campaigns are very strong. I loved both of them. The gameplay in and of itself is just phenomenal. Just the shooting mechanics just feel incredible. I rank it up there with Doom, just two Bethesda published shooters that are exceptional. Oh, yeah. And I would love multiplayer in Wolfenstein because I think it feels so good. And I'm not saying that's what they're going to do with the format of Wolfenstein 3, but I've never been opposed to the idea. I know that's never really been their focus, and I don't, even to a point, I don't think it's necessary. But post Wolfenstein 2 and the DLC with the Freedom Chronicles, that was so underwhelming, like exponentially underwhelming compared to.
Were they all bad?
Yeah, they weren't bad. They were just very boring, pretty monotonous. It was all recycled maps.
I don't really feel like those little experiences are enough time to really develop the character that you're playing. Not
really. The characters are very all one note. The stories are all very similar to where there's a character who's on a mission and there's a twist halfway through. They're like, oh, now I got to do this thing, but it's always in settings that you're familiar with.
Yeah, and I remember like when this game, before it came out, we were talking about how it could be cool that they're doing these little DLC like vignettes, kind of like Battlefield did, but I guess they didn't turn out how
it was weak just because, like I said, familiar environments, the characters are kind of whatever. All the enemies are the same, all the weapons are the same, and it's very one and done very quickly. So I think the coolest one was Lady Silent Death, but that it is what it is. It was underwhelming. So we'll see what they do with Wolfenstein 3 again. I think Wolfenstein 2 is fantastic, reviewed very well. Didn't sell very well, but reviewed very well. So I have the utmost faith in Machine Games with the third one, and I'm excited to hear more. He said they'll probably have much to say about it in 2 years' time around E3, 2 years from now. So I think that's to be expected. In 2 years, I could totally see Wolfenstein 3 being announced.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude. Well, what's on the list? The Fortnite shopping cart was added. Again, I keep bringing up Fortnite stuff because I'm just so impressed with Epic Games' approach to their Battle Royale game, and I think it's hilarious how PUBG, meanwhile, I know they filed the lawsuit back in January, but their lawsuit's trying to go through and they're dealing with this situation, and it's just so pathetic to see PUBG Corp attempting to sue Epic Games.
I mean, maybe they have grounds to sue on.
Maybe not. I don't know. The whole situation is just hilarious because PUBG's trying to sue them, and meanwhile their game's still struggling in many areas and not growing at all. And not just the player base, but just the game in and of itself isn't evolving at all. And meanwhile, Fortnite is continuing to not only explode in popularity and success, mainstream success, but is constantly updating things that keep people engaged and excited. I don't even play the game, and every time they announce something like the freaking shopping cart, I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Have you seen gameplay for it?
I have, because it's so clever, too. Instead of being like, okay, it's Fortnite, people have been asking for vehicles, let's add like a Jeep or a dirt bike or something like PUBG would do. I mean, granted, PUBG's a very grounded, like military-like shooter, but and Fortnite's very much a big cartoon. But
I just love how ridiculous everything in Fortnite is.
Exactly. I think that is so funny that you have a shopping cart to ride on and people are ramping off of stuff. And some of the highlights I've seen on Kotaku are hilarious. So I think that's just brilliant, and I'm like, that this is exactly why Fortnite's succeeding. Granted, I know Epic Games has many assets and a much bigger budget to just do what they want with their franchise, but not their franchise, but their game. Yeah. So it's no surprise to me that the game's as big as it is, but I think it's just a hilarious story that Fortnite's huge, and then meanwhile PUBG's like, we're going to sue you for stealing our idea that we probably sort of stole from someone else before this. So It is a hilarious situation, but I just thought it was funny to mention.
It'll be interesting to see, like, even after like Call of Duty comes out, who's going to be its biggest competition? Fortnite is going to be like Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. Is PUBG going to have a resurgence in a way? I don't know.
Yeah, I meant to tell you guys that at E3 they are demoing Grand Operations from Battlefield that I will get to play. I'm excited about. Cool. So very excited to dabble in that, and I'm hoping something tells me it's not going to be there, but I'm hoping Blackout is at E3. It may or may not be. I don't know if it'll even be playable, but hopefully it's detailed more, and maybe we'll see some gameplay. I don't know. So.
Yeah, you're gonna have all the juicy details and all the gameplay.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to talk about when I come back. That is something that's happening, so that's cool.
Do your homework.
Oh, I shall. I'll be prepared. PS4 free games for June. Here they are: XCOM 2, Trials Fusion, Zombie Driver HD on PS3, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier on PS3, Atomic Ninjas on Vita, and Squares on Vita.
Some good titles.
Shout out to XCOM 2. Never finished it. Played about 3/4 of it and really, really enjoyed it. I kind of shot myself in the foot though because I played on the hardest difficulty. I have no idea why. I was just not only in a tactical mood at the time, but I wanted to be challenged. And I got to a point where I couldn't progress because I just didn't fully understand the game, how to properly build my squad and customize them to succeed in some of the more difficult missions later on. But that game is freaking rad if you're into turn-based tactical games like that. So shout out to that one. Trials Fusion, I know we dabbled in at the conception of our channel.
Yeah.
When we first started, that was one of the first Let's Plays we ever did. It wasn't the first, because the first one we ever did was a, what was that game? Towerfall Ascension, that never aired because it was so bad. I mean, granted, all of them were bad, but Trials Fusion was our first, I think, official Let's Play on this channel, which I recommend not checking out. Don't do it.
You should watch it.
Resist any urge you have to go check that out because it is just just the worst thing you've ever seen.
You should play the game though. Game's good.
The game's awesome. Definitely download it for free if you haven't played it.
I mean, it's fun with other people. I don't know how it is alone.
I thought the sharing a screen for multiplayer was weak because if one person falls behind even slightly, you're just screwed because the camera keeps up with the person who's always in first place. So even if you're slightly behind, you're kind of at a disadvantage because the person in front has the best camera angle. Mm-hmm. So that was a little weak to me, but the game, especially in single player, is challenging and fun and creative. A lot of the player-generated maps are really, really fun too. So that one's awesome. I can't speak for the others. I dabbled in Future Soldier on Xbox 360 back in the day. I can't say much about it. And the others I've never played.
I liked Future Soldier. It was a solid game.
Yeah. Xbox games with gold for June. These ones have me stoked, bruh. Hopefully these are a reflection of the exciting announcements we'll get at Microsoft's E3 press conference, which we're about to discuss. Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, Smite Gold Bundle, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and Lego Indiana Jones 2, The Adventure Continues.
Interesting.
I'm going to download all of them, of course, to play on my Xbox One X because it's badass and it plays in 4K. To tell you, my photography teacher, awesome guy, great teacher, one of the best teachers I've had at SCAD, was telling us about how he finally picked up the Xbox One X and just how pumped he was for it.
Yeah.
And he's talking about playing Sea of Thieves, which I'm like, great. And I'm thinking, like, what the hell else are you going to play in that thing? And he's making jokes. I mean, it's all in good fun, but he's making jokes about me and the other classmates that play on PS4. We have this gorgeous and growing library of PS4 first-party exclusives that are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, it's like, yeah, I'm playing Sea of Thieves on my One X. I'm like, God bless your soul. So that my heart breaks for those that, one, don't play PS4, but especially the ones that are just oblivious to what's laying at their fingertips on PS4.
Sure, you just don't understand how powerful the X is. It makes all the other stuff doesn't matter.
I get it, man. It's a kick-ass video game console.
The teraflops.
Oh, what's that quote from Kylo Ren in Force Awakens, where he's like, "He means nothing to me." That's how I feel about the Xbox.
Wow.
He's like,
you had a lot of good times on Xbox.
Han Solo. He means nothing to me. That's how I feel about.
You grew up on the Xbox. How dare you say that?
Hey, 360, man. I have fond memories of that machine. I will forever love that machine. Xbox One has some solid titles on it, but compared to PS4, man, it's laughable. Mm-hmm. So that's why I have high hopes for Microsoft's E3 press conference, man. I think they have the ability to really bring it this year, and I've heard rumblings that they're going to be all guns blazing at their like this at their press conference. So I have high hopes.
I'm excited for their conference too.
And how about we jump into it right now?
Yeah.
Preston, what have you done? That will be stuck in my head for the next 3 days. Ladies and gentlemen,
I played it 2% of the time you played it, and it's still stuck in my head.
Yeah, that is. I'll give them this. They wrote a jingle that is probably forever embedded into my mind.
Who are we talking about?
Sea of Thieves.
Oh.
I won't even jingle it to you, Jacob, because you'll never forget it.
I mean, I just heard it. So
the theme song.
I can hear it in my head. I remember.
You're better off for it. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our official full-on deep E3 2018 predictions for all the main press conferences. Not so much the PC one, unless you guys want to talk about that. But let me know if I'm forgetting any. I will list what I have written down.
They got some new mouses coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Some new mice and some new graphics cards.
Oh yeah, my bad. I used the incorrect. What's the word? how do you say it? The plural term for it, or
yeah. So
we're
going to go into all the press conferences. Let me know if I'm forgetting any. I know not all these are press conferences. Some of them are like Nintendo Treehouse style videos or whatever. But we have EA, Xbox, Bethesda, Ubisoft, Sony, Nintendo, Square Enix.
I think that's it.
Is that everyone?
Maybe like what's that weird company that always
Devolver
has?
Digital.
Yeah, maybe they'll have one.
Though I think they are
having one.
Yeah,
I confirm.
But
that's like a joke, though, so it's fine.
Yeah, there's this total satire, but they do make announcements, which a lot of their games are really solid. I will say the ones that I've played, I don't think I've reviewed any Devolver Digital games, but I've previewed many of them, and all the ones that I previewed that are later review very well. So they got some pretty solid stuff in their lineup. So I'm kind of excited to see what they have to bring to the table this year, specifically just with the presentation of all of it, because it was totally ridiculous last year. So let's begin by addressing Matty G's question involving E3 in and of itself. This one's a little more drawn back. We're kind of predict who we think is going to win before we go into the deep dive as to what we think is going to be revealed at all of them. Matty G says, here's a topical and easy question. In order best to worst, how do you think everyone's E3 conferences will shape up?
How are we supposed to know this?
So I'm going to list mine. You guys don't have to if you don't want to. If you can't remember all the things, because I have them written down here. Me and Jacob.
I have an idea. Why don't we answer this after we've discussed them all in depth, just so it kind of refreshes our minds. If like y'all predict something that I didn't know about that I think in term could be there, that might make me want to change its position. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. See, I went back and forth in this whether to do it before or after, because I feel like our predictions will answer this question for us. But I'm fine with doing it after if you guys prefer that. Granted, a lot of our predictions may be could be subjective in terms of what we think is cool and what isn't. So we'll do it after. That's cool.
Cool.
Let's start with EA. What are we going to see at EA? With the exception of what we know, Battlefield, Anthem. I assume Anthem's going to be there. Maybe they'll say something about Anthem. Maybe they'll show it at Xbox.
They already teased Anthem, like a little teaser clip thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've like
a little trailer snippet.
They have like little examples of. They said some things they're going to show. So
yeah,
something about like an exosuit or something.
Yeah,
the Javelin suit, I believe, is what it's called. Yeah, so that'll be there.
We're going to see all the Madden, the FIFA, maybe NHL.
I'm hoping that they break tradition with Madden, FIFA, and NHL and all that, just EA Sports, and I hope they really redact it. Of course, announce them all, have trailers for them all, but not bring someone on stage with like a short documentary about some ancient athlete that no one cares about. No offense to anyone who cares about these ancient athletes, but just waste time where it doesn't do anything for anyone.
I think they're going to continue to do it because every single year it's like they possibly can't do it again.
What if they bring out like Ronaldo this year?
People don't even care about that.
Everyone would go insane.
Don't get me wrong, he's one of those beautiful men I've ever laid eyes on, but I wouldn't care about listening to him speak at a video game conference.
I agree.
I think Skate 4 is going to be announced.
No.
When I say that, every part of my body's screaming for me to say no. But my mind's telling me yes. My mind's telling me no, my body's telling me yes.
That'd be cool. I agree with you, Garrett. I have that on my list as well.
Mm-hmm. I think it's time. I don't think skateboarding's a hot topic at the moment. I know there are people, millions of people around the world that still skate and are actively involved in that community and that world. But mainstream wise, I don't feel like skateboarding's kind of talked about too much anymore, kind of like in the big Tony Hawk days. But I do think that EA will appease the fan outcry. And I think this year's the year. I don't think it'll release this year, but I think it will be announced. We'll have a kick-ass trailer. I'd like to see how they can innovate on the skate formula too. I mean, I love the open world aspect. I love the controls. They were revolutionary at the time, and I still think that's really awesome to control a skateboard in a video game. But I'd like to see how they kind of evolve on that a bit. I don't know what they could do, with the exception of just graphical fidelity and gameplay in and of itself, but maybe the way the story's told or what you do as your character. I don't know. There's only so much you can do in a skateboarding game. What were you going to say?
What if, a la Burnout Paradise, they remaster a skate game?
I'd be down for that. Do you think they would do like the Skate trilogy, or do you think they'd stick to 1 or 2? I think the best skate game of all time is Skate 2.
They might do 2 or 3, but I think that actually might be a smart move for them. Just remaster it up, put it on all the current consoles, maybe put it on Switch, and just see how it does, and then maybe move forward with a new entry in the series.
Yeah. No, one has to question too how many people would pick up the remaster if they already own the previous one, and that could taint EA's perception of the possible sales of a brand new skate game.
I don't know. Is Skate 2 or 3 on, or even the first one, backwards compatible on Xbox One?
I think one of them is, maybe.
How often is EA giving us remasters?
They hardly ever. The only one I can think of is Burnout.
Right.
Everyone's still waiting on Mass Effect, but chances of that are pretty fat.
I think it could be, like I said, like Burnout. Maybe I think they put out the Burnout one. It's been a while since we've had a Burnout game. They probably just wanted to see how one would sell today.
I think that's a good prediction. I hope that it's Skate 2, personally. That's my favorite.
I predict we hear about Star Wars in some way.
We'll definitely hear about Star Wars.
Maybe from Respawn.
How bold.
I mean, I don't think it's a guarantee.
No, I think the big surprise reveal is going to be Respawn's Star Wars game.
I agree, awesome. 100%.
That's on my list.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the craziest thing that I have written down here.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see, like, besides a Star Wars new IP, I don't know if we'll see like another new IP from EA.
I think we'll see a few indie titles highlighted.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have at least one indie title featured, just kind of like Fee or Faye, however you say it, and kind of like A Way Out was last year.
Yeah, those are always
something along that line.
Really well received.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
A lot of those have reviewed well for EA as well. So,
dude, we need to play A Way Out.
Yeah, we do. We can blow through that too when I get back from E3, because once I have to get through that week, and then a few days after that, there's still work to be done. Mm-hmm. But post all that, I have a whole summer of just It's Obvious Gaming, of course, COG stuff sprinkled in there, but working It's Obvious Gaming to just do stuff. So being out of school, we got to take advantage of all that free time, and A Way Out needs to be played desperately.
For sure.
You haven't finished it with Jay yet, have you?
I have not. I have.
Okay, cool.
I played about an hour of it with him.
Awesome. Yeah, we will get to that in the very near future.
Awesome.
Any other predictions for EA? I can't really think of anything other than the big ones like Anthem, EA, Battlefield.
I think it's going to be same old EA. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a ton of sports. They're going to wheel out some dude. It's going to be an awkward conversation. They're going to end with Anthem. We're going to see something Star Wars related, and yeah, we're going to see a demo of like 35,000 people playing Battlefield. Like it's just going to be the same thing we've seen every year. Mm-hmm. So I think that's definitely the probably at the bottom of my list for just being not in like the listing of what's from like the best or worst, but in terms of my hype level, that's the conference that I'm least hyped for sure.
Likewise. Xbox, what are we going to see?
Two brand new huge IP. It's going to happen.
What is it?
I don't know.
Who's it coming from?
One is going to be,
See, I lose track of their first-party studios with the exception of the Coalition 343 Playground. I think is Playground at first party or no?
They're the ones who make Horizon, right?
Yeah.
Or the Horizon, not Horizon. Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
I think
who's the Crackdown studio?
I think the Fable game's real, and they're making it. Horizon developer.
I think that rumor is true. I think we'll see Fable announced.
It's going to be Fable. Yeah.
And again, I don't know who is making a new IP, but I think they're going to have at least one brand new IP
Okay.
that people are going to be really excited for.
So apparently they're coming out like you did with your fingers, guns a-blazing, Garrett.
I forgot that you can see us.
Yeah. I think we're getting a new Gears. It's time. It's time for new Gears. I think we're getting Fable revealed. I think we're getting a new Halo, Garrett. I think if they say that they're going to knock it out of the park, I think they got to have all their big ones there with bringing Fable back. And I agree with Jacob. I think we're going to get a cool new IP. I think we're going to see Cyberpunk alongside some exclusive DLC or something exclusivity wise for Xbox with Cyberpunk. I think they're going to be showing off Assassin's Creed Odyssey on the Scorpio or on the Xbox One X there. I think that's going to be the reveal. And my pie in the sky thing that I've been thinking for a while is I think all this Borderlands crap is a lie. And Borderlands is coming as an Xbox exclusive.
That'd be massive.
What makes you say that?
I just think that would be an awesome get for Xbox. And
I agree.
know
That would be really solid.
And I know Randy Pitchford has said that it's not going to be there, but
there's just so many.
I think that's a full-blown lie too.
I think he's lying.
I think he is too.
It's going to be an Xbox exclusive. Would I bet money on that? No, but that's just my crazy prediction.
If it is indeed there, I think that's always the stupidest thing to say if it is going to be there, because think about the interviews post Microsoft conference when 1 million people ask him, you said it was going to be here, but it's here. And he just has to say, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I lied to keep the...
Yeah, it's such a stupid situation.
Maybe it's not Borderlands 3, though. Maybe it's like...
Borderlands 1 remastered.
Borderlands the Ugly Collection instead of the Handsome Collection.
That's pretty bold, Jacob. I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
And then to end it, we're going to get Connect 3.
Oh, yeah. Hell yes. I think Halo 6 will be teased. I think it's time to get a trailer for Halo 6.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like them to say, I think, you know, would blow people's minds if they announced Master Chief Collection for Windows 10.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would completely blow the roof off the place for Halo fans, myself included. I would be stoked.
Aren't they supposed to be talking about a new update for the Master Chief Collection at some point as well?
That as well. That's the thing. Master Chief Collection for me has been great on console. It still has issues from time to time, but
how many frames does it run in?
60.
Oh,
yeah, it's strong on console.
Even like original Halo?
Yeah, they ported it all to 60.
Must have missed that.
Yeah, so even since launch, it's been at 60. So I think we will probably get an announcement regarding just Master Chief Collection in general. I think a lot of stuff from 343 will be detailed, specifically Master Chief Collection, and hopefully a trailer for Halo 6. Because if they don't have a trailer yet by this point, I think that's ridiculous. Because Halo 5 came out in 2014 or 15? I think it was 15, right?
Maybe they pulled like a Bungie in there.
Halo 5 came out when we were at a Woodstock.
Yeah, that was 2015, I believe.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
So, late 2015. That was November.
Do you think it'll be called Halo 6?
Yeah.
I think it will, just to wrap up their new trilogy. I think it'll be called Halo 6, subtitle something else, and maybe they'll just call it Halo 6. But I think post Halo 6, they'll start subtitling all Halo games, like Halo Reach, Halo this.
I think this is the last Master Chief game we get.
I hope so, man.
Dude, I've heard a lot of rumblings about just not any like leaks, but just people wanting Halo to just do something new, at least story wise. And I know they're stuck in this Cortana thing, but how cool would it be to just kind of, and I know this wouldn't be relative at all, giving it like the God of War reboot, but just to do something so different, just to take Halo just in a really different direction. And maybe like a Master Chief, like taking his helmet off or something just crazy just to finish the trilogy, this new trilogy or something like that.
Oh, you mean instead of continuing their trend of Halo 4 and 5, just them revolutionizing Halo with 6 or post Halo 6?
I would have to assume post Halo 6 because they've dug themselves into a hole of having to resolve the story at least.
Yeah.
But I personally would like to see just a complete reinvention of Halo.
Me too. They desperately need it, I think. I mean, Halo 5 is very strong. I don't like the campaign, but I thought multiplayer was the best 343 has done with it since Halo Reach. I know Reach was from Bungie, but just Halo multiplayer in general, I thought it was the best since Reach. So I'm excited for the expansion of that. Essentially, what they'll do, anything possibly differently with the multiplayer. A story, not interested. I mean, I'm sure they can make a cool story post Halo 5,
Isn't
but the direction it's headed, I'm not interested in.
That you're not interested in a Halo story? That's what they need to fix.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have been more interested and invested if Halo 5's. Yeah, I mean, obviously Halo 5's story was just. I wouldn't say it's a disaster. It's just really dumb. It just had a dumb direction, dumb twists and turns in it. But like I said, in my eyes, Master Chief's story ended with Halo 3. So even going into Halo 4, I was a little on edge about it. But that's why I'm excited for post Halo 6, because there's a whole universe for them to play with. So
I enjoyed Halo 4's story, but Halo 5 kind of set me off.
Anyway, predictions. Halo 6, I think, will be teased. Like we said, Fable, of course, Gears probably be there. I think all of Preston's predictions were solid too. I'm trying to think of anything else we're forgetting. Crackdown. We're going to see Crackdown in an official release date?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't they say it's pushed early next year, or is it late this year at some point?
I don't think we know.
If it comes out this year, dude, that game is going to be slaughtered.
I mean, last year it was delayed till like spring, and now it's delayed again. I don't know what happened to it. Or maybe that was just delayed to 2018.
I don't think there's any hype in it at all, man.
There's not.
If I was that studio, I'd be so depressed right now.
I mean,
I don't mean that
Microsoft
to
hasn't
make
been
fun of them or
creating
feel bad, but I would be so bummed because just no one has any interest. I mean, I'm sure there are Crackdown fans that care, but
it just seems like no one knows what the game is yet.
Yeah, just the vast majority of people, I think it's just on nobody's radar. And all the issues they've been having with development, all the delays, I think that's just killed any flicker of hope that people had for it. So they got to do something exponential at their conference if they plan to hype that game up again. Mm-hmm. Especially coming after the poor critical reception of State of Decay 2. They really, really need to build their first party.
I think if anything gets a battle royale mode for Microsoft, it'll be that, because that could make that game relevant. Yeah. Can you imagine
that could be kind of cool. I don't know much
about a huge city.
Yeah, I don't know much about Crackdown.
Yeah, this is me saying like I've never played Crackdown. I don't really know what it is.
I like the idea of them teasing the destructible environments in the new city. So maybe that'd be kind of cool with battle royale mode. And that's super random to talk about right now, but that's not totally.
It could be like it's a little kink or its niche, like Fortnite has the building. Mm-hmm. This one has destructible buildings. I don't know.
Is there anything else we're forgetting from Microsoft that's notable?
Maybe we got Forza, but
are you still there, Preston?
Yeah, I'm still here. Okay. I think Forza Horizon, the next one, will be revealed, but I think that's a pretty safe one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's everything Microsoft, but if they have all that stuff there, I think it'll be pretty strong, for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, they got to, even if it's just teaser trailers, they got to tease first-party games they have coming because they need it desperately.
Yeah, I think if we get a Fable and just a new IP, and then we see what's going on with Gears and Halo, I think that is a very solid first-party lineup for sure.
I agree.
Something I would feel good about if I were a Xbox faithful fan.
You and me both. Let's discuss Bethesda.
Really quick before Bethesda. So, you know this mural I was telling you guys, or that you guys have seen, that's hanging over the convention center?
Yes.
On those three buildings? Well, some guy ran up to one of the workers that's painting it and asked for their reference guide. So he took a picture of it. So I'm looking at what the overall image is supposed to look like. And it is just three vault boys walking out of a vault side by side. So there's three of them together. So do you think that could potentially signify anything with three
like three-player co-op?
Is it a squad-based game?
What do you mean squad-based?
Like you always have three with you, no matter what. Like, is it?
No, I don't think Bethesda's going to force multiplayer. I just cannot see them doing that.
You think it potentially up to three people in a party running around together?
Like with AI companions?
Mm-hmm.
Or
no, not just AI companions, but like three real-life players. You can have that option.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they just bought 3 buildings, so they were just like, oh, just put
Just
another
put 3 of them on there. Yeah.
Might be looking too much into it, but that maybe could signify something. I think 3 people's cool, because that all 3 of us could run around. So 3 sounds cool to me. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about Bethesda.
Yeah, let's do it. Bethesda. They come out. Doom 2. Here we go. Doom 2's coming out.
That's Doom a great 2. Way to open it too, with the metal soundtrack. So yeah. Open the conference with Doom 2.
For sure. We got Doom 2. Doom 2 is going to slide right into Rage 2.
Yes, it will.
We're going to see a decent gameplay demo of Rage 2. They're going to show us, all the mechanics, kind of a little bit of a deep dive into that game. That game's coming out probably early next year.
I predict the opposite.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you predict?
The opposite of what you just said.
That it's coming out early next year?
No, like Rage 2 is going to lead into Doom. I think they start out with something known.
I said Doom 2 leads into Rage 2.
Is that what I said? I meant I mean I think Rage 2 is going to lead into Doom 2.
Oh, okay. All right. Either or. I just believe both of okay. I think the main prediction was I just think Doom 2 is going to be there. I guess that's just my prediction. That's going to be there. We're going to see the Prey Moon DLC that's been teased on the Twitter, which I'm very hyped for. I think we'll probably see some ESO stuff, like our expansion Somerset just came out this past week, and here's a trailer, and here's how many people are playing, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you come play this game, etc. I think we'll see some more Elder Scrolls Legends.
Yeah, those will be like back to back.
Yeah, I think because I know a new developer took that over, so we'll probably see some stuff for that game. And then I think they're going to transition and end it with Fallout 76, and during that spiel we're going to see a mobile tie-in to Fallout 76, mobile game tie-in.
I agree.
And I think we will also see a Fallout 3 remaster, and we'll end up seeing that the date for Fallout 76 will be this year at some point. Like I said, I'm going to be my bold prediction is going to be it's going to be around August or a little bit before August. That is my pie in the sky prediction there. If I had to bet money, no, I'd probably say this November.
And this is the challenge with doing predictions like this, because you and I especially, I know Jacob feels a bit differently about some of it, but you and I especially just not only predict a lot of the same things, but almost think it's going to go the exact same way. Like I was going to say Doom 2 is going to open the show too, but yeah, I think all of that is sounds pretty solid. What I mean, I know Machine Games won't have anything unless they have like a surprise, like here's the DLC that's going to make up for all of our other crappy DLC. But you think we'll see anything from Evil Within's studio?
Tango Gameworks. Yeah. Maybe some DLC. I don't think any DLC has come out for that game thus far. I don't remember if there was a season's pass or anything, but I know the Evil Within 1 had really good DLC from what I've heard, so that wouldn't surprise me at all if they had some sort of presence there.
So I don't know much about Bethesda, so do you think there would be any room for maybe just a little short tease of maybe another Bethesda game studio game coming? Think there's any chance of that, or would that take away from 76?
No, it wouldn't. I just don't, unless they've just acquired somebody that I didn't know about, or we're just forgetting somebody. I think all of their studios, we pretty much we know what they're working on, or a game of theirs just released. Like Evil Within 2 just came out, so we know there's not going to be a sequel from that. Wolfenstein just came out, and from what we just heard, they're working on 3, which we should not expect at least for the next 2 years. Bethesda Game Studios is going to talk about 76. Arcane, isn't Arcane split into 2? Garrett?
They are.
Yeah, so maybe they're working on something. That's about the only studio I can think of.
When was Dishonored 2 released? I can't remember. Is it 2015 as well, or 2016?
It was released the same year as Final Fantasy 15. Because I remember playing that after
I
Dishonored
think that's
2.
2016 then.
Okay. It's been a little bit, but Death of
See-
the Outsider came out not too long ago.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see anything from Dishonored
No,
yet.
I
Maybe
think
probably
Dishonored,
next year.
Probably not.
Dishonored.
I don't. I would. I hope we just see Dishonored because I don't know how that really did commercially. I don't think it did the best.
Yeah, it did not. I think it's high time Skyrim is officially released for mobile. It's the final frontier for that game.
Yep.
So that's happening, of course. I think that's pretty much everything we have to cover for Bethesda.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't
one of
think
the
anything.
this is the thing that I'm held up on. A leaker a while ago, who I can't exactly say who he is, or just a leaker that people have said is very credible, said that Bethesda's press conference is going to have something that is going to make you fall out of your seat. Is that a pun? Fall out of your seat? Does that mean? Is that what that means, or am I looking too deep into that? Because that makes me less excited because we know what Fallout's going to be there. Or is he referencing just something else? Like, could they defy our expectations and announce at Elder Scrolls? I don't think they will, because I think that completely goes against what Bethesda Game Studios is doing right now about announcing something and releasing it relatively soon after. So I can't believe that. But I mean, if they did announce it, then yeah, I think everybody would fall out of their seats. That's about the only thing I can think of.
I'd like to see that. That or the Starfield, whatever it could be, just something huge.
Yeah.
What if like this Elder Scrolls are just so, grand and even just like massive, even more big than Skyrim ever was, and they're like, they just want to let everyone know that they're working.
I think that would be great, because I think that is the case. I think that they're wanting to make something absolutely massive. I forget where it came from, but some people were pointing to Todd Howard making a comment saying that he didn't even know if this generation could do what they wanted to do with Elder Scrolls 6.
Mm-hmm.
And that wouldn't surprise me in the least bit, because I know I'm referencing all these leakers, but a guy that used to work at Bethesda, he's working for Sony Santa Monica now. When he heard about what they were doing with Fallout 4, how big it was going to be, he was like, whoa, we're doing that. Like, it's going to be that big. Like, that's crazy. So I can only imagine them wanting to one up that with the Elder Scrolls 6. That, yeah, like you're right. It who knows if that's even feasible on, PS4, Xbox One hardware.
I want to think that they're just going to have every region in the game in a way, because I'm trying to, or like, are all the Elder Scrolls continents known? Like, do they just keep adding
they
to
are.
it? Okay,
They are known. Yeah,
it's like, I think the only thing you can do at this point is just let us go to all of them in a game.
that'd be insane.
That would.
That would be insane.
That might be a little too insane.
I could see it.
At the very least, just a second region, like say, Cyrodiil or
Like, I don't know
City
which ones are
region.
touching, so maybe two of them would make sense together.
Just like Skyrim and whatchamacallit, starts with an M.
Morrowind.
Morrowind, yeah. And like one game. I was saying those two specific ones, but kind of how The Witcher has can't remember anything.
Like the 3 continents.
Yeah.
Or
So
the 2.
I think that what you're talking about, Jacob, just having the massive world that you can go between the regions, I think that's kind of more suited for like ESO. And I think that's what they actually do with ESO. I think if they're having just a single player RPG like the Elder Scrolls typically is, they're probably going to restrict it to just one piece.
You're probably right. I'm just trying to think of big, like not as big as an MMO, obviously, but
yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm stupid excited for Bethesda's showcase. I think that's at probably the tippy top of my list in terms of who I'm hyped to see. Pete Hines, man,
Very good.
He says there's surprises to come. So pumped.
I believe him. That guy's a man of his word. So
For
I believe
sure.
him.
very short man too. Is that correct, Garrett?
He is very short. Yeah, I was like 3 heads taller than he was, but it was cool meeting him. Let's talk Ubisoft.
Nice, guys. I'll be back in like 2 seconds. I have to pee so bad.
Okay.
So y'all can start without me.
Of course, we'll see more of Odyssey. Probably just more of the little nitty gritty pieces. I think Preston's right about Assassin's Creed having a stronger presence at Xbox, but we'll see a bit more. Hopefully, it's not as crappy as it was at Ubisoft's conference last year, where they cut to a live stream of these people on a couch in the sun, where you can't even see the screen. They're playing like we're running around with the horse or the camel or whatever. And Origins, tune in after the press conference to see what we're up to.
A deep dive, yeah.
It was so stupid. But maybe it'll be something like that. We will see Division 2, of course. I think they released last week. We talked about it. Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
We'll probably see more tech demo stuff. I don't know. I don't know how far the game's come.
Yeah, that game still seems like light years away.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how they're just kind of sharing their developmental process as they go, though. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I forgot what we even said was on their list that they confirmed what's going to be there.
It's Division 2, Beyond Good and Evil, I guess Assassin's Creed now.
Yeah.
What else?
I know we're going to see Splinter Cell for sure. Announcement.
Splinter Cell, maybe. There's other things confirmed.
I know, it's just my brain's not functioning.
Let me look up the list really quick.
What else is there? I can't remember. Jacob, my brain's so gone now that I can't even think of how I got here this morning.
It's okay, my friend.
Division.
Rainbow Six Siege stuff, of course.
Yeah, we'll probably see a little something for that.
The Crew 2, we'll probably see.
Yeah, definitely.
Of that.
Crew 2. I know that's on the list as well that we discussed last week. Did you just Google Ubisoft E3 2018 lineup?
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it? Okay. I'll let Preston
we won't see
share some predictions. I should have prepared for this better because I'm just winging it right now. I didn't have time to prepare realistic predictions. I mean, of course, I've thought about this leading up to this podcast, but I haven't really written any of it down. I can't think of anything else.
What are the odds that they're going to release another Switch game, don't you think? You think they have something worked up?
Possibly.
What do you think,
have
Preston?
what was that toy thing that they showed the other year, like the Starlink?
I have no memory. Oh, those things. I haven't heard anything about that.
I heard one leak saying that that's going to come back, but they're completely ditching the toy stuff. So it's just
Good idea.
a game.
Looks ridiculous.
Yeah. What about Skull and Bones? We see anything from that? I know they talked about taking that back to the drawing board a bit, working on it.
This time it's going to come back. We're going to see a pirate that is your pirate.
Your pirate?
They're going to completely change the game.
Customized pirate?
Oh, yeah. And it's going to have more to the game than just battling other pirates.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I could not be less excited about that game.
Yes, you've shared that with us.
How it currently is, yes, I agree. If they can make it more like Assassin's Creed 4, then I'm on board. But that's what
I'm not excited for it, but I am intrigued by the idea, and I think it's pretty bold of them to double down on the ship mechanics of Assassin's Creed 4, because I really enjoyed that. I mean, honestly, what I enjoyed most was, it was fun shooting at ships, sure, but jumping onto another ship and then getting in a sword fight is what I enjoyed most.
All that I want in a pirate game is just give me a third-person pirate game where I can actually feel like I'm a pirate.
Assassin's Creed 4? Was that
exactly.
That you want more of that?
That's why I love that game. Like, being a pirate's one of my oldest fantasies.
Being a pirate, huh?
Yes, dude. Being a pirate's awesome.
Okay. Nice.
You think that's funny? It's awesome.
Like Steve the pirate.
Any pirate, man. Okay. Pirates are just cool.
Yeah, I think pirates are
cool.
Don't listen to anyone.
Have I got a game for you? Have you ever heard of Sea of Thieves?
No, tell me.
Rock your world, man. It is the savior of Xbox One. That's what it is.
So this is all I had written down. You guys probably already said all of this, but
we basically just covered what they're already confirmed. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I just have more Creed, obviously. Division 2. I think they're going to go into all their games as services and talk about them.
We said Siege,
For Honor, stuff like that.
For Honor.
Yeah, I think For Honor will be there.
Yeah, that was on the list too last week.
Oh, it was? Okay, cool.
We talked about Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, that'll be there for sure. Splinter Cell reveal is happening here at Ubisoft.
When do you think that comes out?
Splinter Cell?
Sometime next year for sure.
Yeah, next year. Okay. too crowded this year.
If not
Unfortunately.
spring, probably fall of next year, I'd guess.
You think we'll see more DLC for Mario or Rabbids or whatever it's called?
Maybe. I know they announced something about that not too long ago.
I know
Can't remember what it
Donkey Kong DLC came out, or it's coming out soon. So I don't know.
Yeah,
if
maybe
there's
they'll
anything
like
else
throw in Wario or something.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
Oh crap! You think they'll? Oh, I was going to ask this with Bethesda because they're so into VR recently. If they were going to do anything VR wise, but Ubisoft is invested in VR. I know that there was like that Elijah Wood VR game. Remember that last year?
Yeah.
I bet you that'll be here again.
Did that come out yet?
No, there's been nothing about that, so that should be here. They'll do some stuff with
Do they
VR.
have like some other? Do they give us like another? What was that game called? Steep? Do we get something weird like that again?
Perhaps. I still think
Ubisoft?
Steep is a cool game. I like the demo a lot, and I think for the right audience, that game probably was great.
I mean, all I know is that our
I-
friend Evan played it and he didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
thought it was
I know
pretty cool, though.
Ubisoft typically ends their event with a new reveal. So I don't know. Maybe that's Splinter Cell.
I think it should be. Oh, excuse me.
All I know is, Garrett, if they're like, we leave you with one more thing, and I don't hear or see 3 dots or something, I'm just jumping out the window. I don't think I can go another year without seeing Splinter Cell.
It'll upset me as well if it's not
I
there.
just
But
can't take it.
I'm very confident, and I think you and I are right to be confident in it being there.
Yep, I hope.
So-
I don't know. Also, dude, who knows? I would not surprise me at all if Splinter Cell isn't still over a year and some change out, because Ubisoft typically they'll announce their crap and it'll come out relatively late, or not late, but it sometimes will like take a while. Like look at just like Wildlands and The Division and stuff. Like just because they announce it, I necessarily shouldn't think that it's going to be coming out like early next year or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
is there any hope for a third South Park game?
Not now.
Not many times soon. Maybe a few years.
I think there will be one, but not anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I still haven't played either.
Ubisoft's hard to predict for, especially when all their stuff has pretty much been leaked or confirmed already. So
Yeah. Which will be the same thing with the next people we talk about.
I'm sure we'll get a little cringy bit from Mr. Yves Guillemot while he's there. Hopefully he won't.
is Aisha Taylor? Is she doing it again?
I don't think she is going to be
She
there
wasn't
this
last year, right?
She was not there last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she
So.
was.
I don't know who was there last
Maybe
year.
she was last
I think
year.
they just had developers come up last
I
year.
can't remember.
She wasn't there last year. I remember distinctly.
We will get another Just Dance number.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, we'll get that.
I don't know why they keep doing that, but they do. It must sell very well if they feel inclined to include that every year.
Somehow, in some way, the Switch is going to be like displayed on stage. I think that's a prediction I have.
Displayed?
Yeah, like they'll be using it on stage, maybe for Just Dance.
Okay.
They're just going to be using it.
Just Dance on Switch, dance in public, dance on a train, dance on a plane. So, we'll see. So before we jump into Sony, I have a couple more community questions that will sort of season and pepper our conversation. First one comes from Cheeky. He says, hello, or excuse me, I do the Hulk Hogan voice. He says, hello, brothers.
Brother.
I can't do Hulk Hogan very well.
That was
He
pretty
says,
good.
saw some rumors. I can do Bonesaw. Bonesaw is ready.
Thank you.
That really hurts the throat. He says, saw some rumors that a new Bioshock game might be coming. To be honest, I'm really excited to see where the franchise will go. So my question is, what setting would you guys like to see in a new Bioshock? Go back to Rapture, stay on Columbia, or a whole different setting? Keep the podcast as fire as it is.
I don't even have a remote idea of what I want from
We'll
Bioshock.
stay lit for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Let us haul. I tell you, I had this guy freak out on me last night at Smith's.
What'd you do to him?
So it was the weirdest thing yesterday. They had an early show that started at 6 and ended at 9, and then they had a late show that went from 9:30 to 12:15. So I had 2 shows, three bands each for each show. And then I always play Fallout 3 soundtrack after I wrap the last band. So I'm playing that, and people love that every time I play it, especially bands. People are like, dude! Like, we always start talking about Fallout after every show because so many people played Fallout 3, especially guys in bands. And so I'm playing this, and the host of the comedy show that happens every Saturday at 1 a.m. at Smith's Old Bar came up to me. He's like asking me for some stuff he needs. I'm helping him out. I'm like, what do you want me to play in the house for when people are walking in here? He goes, dude, he's like, doesn't matter to me. You play what's on your heart. I was like, you're sure? I was like, because I will play anything you want. He's like, no, man, you play what you want to play. I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep Fallout on. So keep Fallout on. People are coming in. This place is packed to the brim with people for this comedy show. And people are talking about Fallout next to me that like the game. And all of a sudden, this co-host, who I guess is a bit of a douchebag, walks in. He's like, what the fuck is playing right now? I was like, what? He goes, the music. He's like, what the hell is this? I was like, your friend told me to play whatever. He didn't give me anything specific. He's like, turn on some damn trap, man, and crank that shit up. I was like, all right. So just went on Apple Music and was like, trap music. And it was like a playlist that came up.
Yeah.
It was like, for like an hour
Trap
just
music
blasting.
is wild.
So I know people love that kind of music, but it was just obnoxious when I turned it on. But I fulfilled his wish.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just hilarious.
Must be a man
he was
with poor
so
taste.
pissed to hear.
Yeah, what song was it?
It was Butcher Pete. So, fuck you, man. Anyway.
Have you ever listened to...
Butcher Pete's got a long, sharp knife. He's not afraid to use it.
Have either of you listened to Richard Cheese before?
I have.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Has he come out with music in the recent years?
I don't know if recently.
I haven't listened to Mr. Cheese in
Dude,
a long time. Probably since early high school.
If you wanted some music like Fallout, just listen to Richard.
Richard Cheese.
Yeah, that's the best name ever, by the way.
So there's that one. We'll talk about that in a second. The possibility of a BioShock sequel. Jacob Walters says, what's up, Preston and Garrett? Jacob, fucking play Doom.
What the fuck?
Thank you.
Don't even say hi to me. Just say play Doom.
He says, are we getting a Bloodborne sequel trailer at E3? What about a Doom sequel? Dang it, I should have read this one earlier. I apologize, Jacob. I think it's guaranteed we get a new Thief game. Best sequel to the best game ever. Also finished BioShock 2 this week, so thanks, Preston, for the suggestion. I feel like you guys are my friends sorry, I can't read because my nose is so stuffed up. I'm sorry. Feel like you guys are my friends. I've listened for so long. Except for you, Jacob. Play Doom. You've heard it, Jacob. We keep telling you, you've got to play that game.
I intend to one
You have
day.
a PC at your disposal now, you can have the best possible experience.
I mean, I got to play Rise and I got to play Origins. So
Okay.
if I have time after those.
So BioShock and Bloodborne, you think we can bake this into our Sony discussion, or should we talk about it separately?
I think we should. I sent you that leak, Garrett, before we started about BioShock something in the PlayStation press conference. I think that whole leaked list looked completely off to me. Primarily because the guy spelled Ghosts of Tsushima as ghosts with an S, not Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yeah.
So that kind of, I feel like if that was an official document, they probably would have spelled that right.
That, and it was not detailed properly. I've seen ledgers like that for production schedules, and they're way more detailed than that. Like 99% of the time, it wouldn't just say trailer gameplay, trailer gameplay for like the description of them. It always gives a brief description. It gives an allotted complete amount of time. It won't just say 3 minutes. It'll say 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Like it's that specific for stuff like that. So that's definitely fake.
Yeah.
I mean, you already knew that, but that's, I think just based on those details alone, like you mentioned, it's definitely fake.
And I think a lot of the leaks in that thing had been
also
leaked for
they
a
didn't
while,
have they didn't have the conference closing with Last of Us 2. It had 2 other random things after Last of Us 2.
Closing was so calm.
Yeah, please.
Which was interesting. Definitely a franchise I think Sony needs to bring back, especially the only critiques I've heard about Sony's first party lineup is there are no multiplayer like big multiplayer games, and that is very much a multiplayer focused franchise that Sony is just sitting on that I think could be awesome.
It could be awesome.
Yeah, but I guess that could just come out in a year, but I've heard absolutely no rumblings about that whatsoever, so I don't think that's going to happen. But
I mean, we've also seen Sony partner with Activision Blizzard for like Bungie for Destiny and Call of Duty. So I feel like in a way they've kind of supplemented that with those titles.
no, yeah, I agree. I don't necessarily agree for the most part with that criticism, because I'm completely fine with just the single player offerings. Just I'm more into that than I am multiplayer games. So it's nothing really that I would ever complain about. But besides, we already know what
The big four are.
the big four. We already know that. So besides that, based on previous leaks I've heard and things that haven't really been revealed yet, I think Devil May Cry 5 is going to be at this press conference. Things have been rumbling about that game for like the past half year, about it potentially being a PlayStation exclusive. So I think that will be there. I would be very excited for that game. I've always thought Devil May Cry looked freaking awesome. I know the reboot DMC has been on my backlog for a long time. Haven't yet got to it yet, but Devil May Cry 5 is announced. I might go back and try and just dabble in the original trilogy as well. So that'd be cool. I think Shadows Die Twice is Bloodborne 2. I've gone back and forth on if I do or don't, but I think it will be Bloodborne 2, and I think that'll be shown at the conference.
I thought that was confirmed to officially not be Bloodborne 2.
I don't know if it was officially confirmed.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I haven't heard official. I've just heard a lot of people saying that. I don't know the reasoning. I've just heard some people saying that it's not. Granted, Shadows Die Twice might be a brand new IP, but I do think Bloodborne will be at this gosh, I can't talk. At this E3, I think Bloodborne 2 will be there, whether it be that game or just something completely different.
I certainly hope it is.
It needs to be in 60 frames, like
it's not
DS1.
It's not going to be.
I mean, if it's not, then I instantly lose a lot of interest in it.
What?
Yeah,
why?
Bloodborne controlled so poorly. Like it was like I think it's around 17 frames back when it came out.
17?
Yeah, it was so low.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
It was 30.
It was not at 30.
I mean, it may have dropped a couple times to 17, but no game runs
not a solid 30.
No game runs at 17 frames per second. That's like slow motion almost.
I mean, it was pretty low. It dropped pretty low at times.
Maybe
I mean,
when
it had
stuttered.
drops, but it by no means wasn't unplayable.
No.
I'm just saying, at this point, it needs to be better.
It's not going to be. No games are going to be 60 frames per second like that. I don't think.
Then again, I mean, they remastered. I don't know. I haven't played Dark Souls remastered, but I know that runs at 60, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that was a 360 era game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because I mean, a brand new game, I don't know if they can even possibly implement that frame rate just based on just the way. I mean,
they could, but I don't think they will.
That's what I mean. Are they willing to sacrifice graphical fidelity for the sake of performance? I think in a game that demands performance like that, I wouldn't mind 60 frames, but that was never a complaint of mine in Bloodborne. I think it'll be more in line of how Dark Souls 3 probably played. I know there was a pro mode for that. I never played with it, so I don't know if it boosted the frame rate or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were options to either boost a frame rate or resolution in Bloodborne. That'd be rad.
And Dark Souls 3 played perfectly fine on PS4. So I
loved it on PS4. I didn't have any complaints.
Worried about frame rate in the slightest. So, but anyways, I think that'll be there. I think we haven't seen it. We've known it's in development. I could very much see it being at Sony's press conference due to Resident Evil 7 showing at the press conference, but I think we're going to see the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh yeah, that's a solid prediction for sure. Yeah.
Which I'm very hyped for because some of the leaks I've read, granted, again, I think after every time I've mentioned leaks, I'm like, it's not credible, but I could see it very much being like a shifting the perspective, completely making it a modern Resident Evil game, not just obviously with it being remake. I don't think they're going to keep the camera system that was with those old Resident Evil games. I think it's going to very much be an over the shoulder shooter, which makes me very excited because I know how like revered Resident Evil 2 is, and I would love to play through that game, but I would not want to go back and try and play a game with that just old style of tank controls and camera angle and everything. So yeah,
I tried to get through the Resident Evil 1 remaster.
Yeah.
I never finished it. I didn't even dislike like the isometric perspective and the weird, or not really isometric, but the way the camera shifts in each room you're in and the way you maneuver through the mansion. But yeah. I think just other stuff was out at the time, so I never finished it. But I played it for a couple hours and I thought it was fine.
Yeah, but I tried to play it. It just, I don't know, that just doesn't really mesh with me, personally. Not knocking against it. I know there will be a lot of people that probably will hate that they're changing it that much, but I for one hope so they do. So I think that'll be there. I think we'll see a little bit of Final Fantasy VII. That's probably the one thing on my list that I'm the most iffy about, because I still think that game is very far away, and I don't know if we're gonna see a little teaser for it or just another trailer for it or not. But I would like to. I want to see how that game's doing because I'm very excited to play it. And we haven't seen we've heard about it, but we haven't seen anything Shenmue related since 2 E3s ago that the Kickstarter was announced. Mm-hmm. I know Shenmue Remastered 1 and 2 are coming out, I believe, at some point this year, I think. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we got an update for Shenmue 3, like a trailer or something. And then, of course, we'll see a bunch of PSVR stuff. I'm sure we'll see that Blood and Truth game. We'll probably see just like a sizzle reel of a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty much that's the best guesses I can make for Sony's conference. I would love, this is my pie in the sky, love to see PSVR implemented in some way with any of the big four. Whether it be, of course, I want to see Spider-Man. I would absolutely love to have a more in-depth Spider-Man VR thing than that Homecoming VR demo. But whether it be for The Last of Us or Death Stranding, I think it would be so cool just to know that just for any of those games, we're getting something like PSVR related. So,
yeah, my dream is Spider-Man. That's just too cool to pass up.
Yeah.
And I feel like the passion Insomniac has for Spider-Man, I don't see why they wouldn't even want to at least attempt something like that. So I know they can do it. We've played whatchamacallit, Sprint Vector, and that's basically Spider-Man. Just add a little more to the web swinging aspect, and that's pretty much a Spider-Man VR experience.
I'm excited to finally learn what what's his name's game is. I'm totally blanking. I'm sorry.
What's his name's game?
Yes, well, you know what's his name. Hideo
Kojima. Death Stranding.
Yes, Death Stranding. Thank you.
I think the big four are going to be structured throughout the conference. It'll be Spider-Man first, and then Ghost of Tsushima, and then Death Stranding, and then Last of Us. That's what I believe.
I would agree with that.
Of course, we'll see some Spyro. I think I'm actually playing Spyro as well, which I'm excited about. That will be nostalgia-inducing.
We'll see Medieval. I think they announced that at PSX. I think we'll see something from that.
Certainly.
So pretty much everything in that leak I sent you minus BioShock.
Yeah. I was going to say, I wanted to say that I believe we'll finally see what Rocksteady's been up to. And I firmly believe that up until just yesterday when they tweeted that they were looking to hire very minor roles at their studio. And I think if they're still trying to hire people for whatever they're working on, that they have nothing to announce. If they hadn't tweeted that and when they've just been teasing all this Batman concept art for a long time.
What kind of game they're making.
I completely forgot about Rocksteady.
Yeah, I mean, part of me really wants to say they're going to have a presence there and announce what they're working on, but ever since I saw that tweet, I'm like, I don't know if they're hiring. I mean, again, you can be months away from finishing a game and still need to hire people for whatever roles. I mean, you could argue that, but I don't know.
They're going to be their Xbox exclusive Superman game.
Yeah. That would be pretty huge.
That
but
would be ridiculous.
That's a long shot. But I feel like they'll show up at I'm just gonna go ahead and predict it because like I said, I like to fantasize a bit. I think they're gonna show up and announce whatever it is they're working on. I'd like to see WB Montreal show up and say they're working on a new Batman game, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I think that's a solid. I think we'll see something from either them or Rocksteady, something Arkham Universe or just DC Universe related this E3 for sure. I think that's a good prediction. I didn't even think about that.
Cool. Anything else? Sony related?
Crap. I was going to say something, but I forgot. So, never mind.
Well, on to Nintendo.
We're going to see the new Fire Emblem. We're going to get a release date for Yoshi.
Mm-hmm.
We will see, obviously, Smash Bros. Gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And a release date for that.
Metroid Prime.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
I think we will definitely see something Metroid Prime for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hang on.
Let me
take it back.
Ahead.
Did Nintendo say that E3 was they were only going to showcase games that were coming out this year?
I don't know if I've heard that.
I thought I read that, and they were going to talk about games after 2018 at a later date. I would have to.
I'm not sure.
Look at that. Because if that's
everything
the
we've
case,
set up to this point, I don't think changes anything besides Metroid.
Yeah. Could Metroid come out this year?
No way.
Yeah.
I said no way Pokemon comes out this year, and technically the one that I want isn't.
Mm-hmm.
That I really want. Maybe they say more about Let's Go Pokemon. Maybe.
I'm sure they'll say
or maybe they just
something
announced
about it
early to not say anything.
The new Zelda game will be there.
Oh yeah? Dude, if there's a new Zelda game in any aspect at all, I'd poop my pants.
Yeah.
They would win.
Do you think they'll port
Wind
Waker over to Switch yet? Or just any Zelda game for that matter? Is that something they would announce at E3? Do you think that'd be just a random direct they'd announce at some point later on? I feel like it's an either E3 worthy announcement if they're like, hey, we're going to port
maybe
Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess for Preston's sake. Every single Zelda game's coming to Switch.
That right there. That's E3 worthy announcement.
Yeah.
Do you think they talk about their online service at all?
Yes.
Either that or maybe some new kind of Joy-Cons or something. Just something not completely game related will happen.
Amiibos? What amiibos are there going to be?
Definitely new Smash Bros. Characters, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Some new Yoshi
amiibos. Is Goku in Smash Bros?
No.
No? Is that a no from both of you? You said it at the same time.
No.
Okay.
Is there going to be any Let's Go amiibos?
Yes.
100%.
I feel like there's something I'm missing, like something that I should know.
I always love Nintendo's Treehouse stuff because it's just so peaceful and joyful, and everyone's so kind to each other, and it's just playful and feels almost childish in a way, in a good way.
When the podcast started, I mentioned there being a leak about what this conference could have, and I said if it's true, then I would be a little bummed because that the leak pretty much says everything we're saying. There weren't any new announcements. There weren't any surprises or anything.
Typical Nintendo.
Yeah,
I mean, last year was crazy
because of like Metroid and stuff, and new Pokemon game being somewhat announced. So I'm just trying to think of like what could Nintendo just blow our heads off with, just coming out and announcing that like nobody's expecting, or just something that we're just hoping for.
New IP. That'd be crazy. I'm gonna predict it now.
I mean,
new IP from Nintendo.
I guess, but I mean, the only thing I could think of that would blow my head off is just something Zelda, something new Zelda.
It'd be cool to see a 2D Zelda. I mean, I think it's too soon for a 3D.
For sure.
Came out.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if they had like a new Zelda game for 3DS or something.
Zelda came out a year ago. It's crazy. A little over a year.
Yeah, no way we're getting something like that. But I know the last 3DS game was that co-op one, and then before that was the A Link to the Past spiritual successor that I'm blanking on the name right now, but it wouldn't surprise me if we saw something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think we see Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah?
No, I'm saying we don't.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, or in some other smaller direct. I'm just not the biggest Animal Crossing fan. I don't really get into it.
Nothing about Animal Crossing has attracted me to the franchise since the GameCube version, the original, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we know. Oh, we're missing. We know Fortnite's going to be on this thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
that'll
that's
be
a good one.
Pretty big announcement for them.
I know. Again, I wish I could just quit saying the word leaks, but a very credible leak showed those like squares that Nintendo uses all the games in it, and it had Fortnite, it had Paladins, it had a few more things. Those are the only two things that really stood out to me about those games being there.
Well, cool, dude.
What about this Star Fox game that Retro's apparently working on?
Oh yeah, what the racing game? I could see that.
Yeah, I think that'll be there for sure.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm drawing up blanks for anything else though.
I think that's pretty much all that's going to be there for the most part.
Super hyped to see what Smash Bros is about.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be working that day, so feels bad.
Shame.
Same here.
Is that this Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think those are good predictions, boys. I have nothing to add to that. Lastly, Square Enix. Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, hang on.
Sure.
Do you think we'll see anything from Bayonetta 3?
Oh
yeah, I forgot about that.
That should be there. I think.
I don't think so.
Was it last summer or this summer we're getting the remasters of 1 and 2?
It's already out.
Okay, that's what I thought.
They're out. I mean, they announced that title in particular when they announced the remaster, right?
They announced Bayonetta 3 at the last Game Awards.
Right. Okay.
So it still might be a little too soon for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Square Enix, what are we going to see?
Kingdom Hearts 3,
Tomb Raider.
Do you think Kingdom Hearts 3 will have a presence at either Sony or Microsoft's conference?
I don't think so.
If I had to bet, I would not be surprised at all if it did somehow just in some extent be at Sony's press conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think it'd be in Square's best interest to put it at Sony's as well, just for the sake of people watching it, because I doubt as many people are going to watch the Square Enix video as people are going to watch the Sony.
I should have said this too. I think that Shadow of the Tomb Raider will probably be at Microsoft's press conference.
Yeah,
to some extent.
That's a good prediction.
Mm-hmm. Another timed exclusive.
Yeah, that ain't happening again for sure.
Maybe Just Cause. Maybe the leak is true.
That's the thing about Square. I don't know why they have their own little video when all of their third-party stuff is just going to all these different consoles and places anyway. They might as well just spread them across all the other press conferences. I know some other publishers...
I mean, you could say that about Bethesda, right?
Yeah, some other companies may not want to add them to their show for the sake of pacing and their first-party stuff, but to an extent, I think they should branch them out a bit, for sure.
What else does Square make, dude? Maybe we see more Final Fantasy VII.
I was going to say, if not at Sony, or maybe in addition to Sony, maybe a trailer or something. I don't know.
Bold prediction, we get an announcement of a new Final Fantasy.
Do you think when they said we'll be getting the Kingdom Hearts date very soon, did you think they meant the days leading up to E3 or the days at E3?
We'll get it at their...
I think it'll be at E3.
Okay.
I think we'll see an update on Final Fantasy 15. There's still going to be DLC coming out for that.
My goodness.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah?
Can't get enough of it, man. Can't get enough.
Shut your mouth.
Have you tried the fishing, Garrett?
I've tried the fishing. I prefer the fishing in Far Cry.
What about VR fishing?
I never got around to trying the VR fishing.
There you go. Maybe that's what it will take for you to really fall in love with this game.
Really appreciate it for what it can be.
I still haven't played Episode Ignis yet, so I need to play that.
Is that the one where you're on a cooking spree?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
Did you ever play the Prompto one where you're in the snow?
Yes, I did.
That one looked pretty cool.
It was
I have to
cool.
admit.
I like that
Wait,
one.
tell me more about this cooking spree. It's like, is this whole DLC just making stuff?
Yeah. It's like Cooking Mama, but with Ignis.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's how he goes blind, is he in the game. Spoiler alert. He goes blind. Some steam gets up in his eyeballs when he's boiling an egg, and he goes blind.
Tragic.
Yeah.
I really connected to him then, because I too almost burnt my eye with a boiling egg.
Did you?
No.
Oh.
That was just a bad joke.
That would be an awful way to go blind.
Mm-hmm.
How are you blinded, sir? An egg splashed me.
I was cooking breakfast.
I can't think of anything else for Square.
Yeah.
I should have prepared.
Do you think we'll see? I know they have those like RPG games they make from the RPG Maker Studio that made like a Song of Setsuna, if that's what it's called. They might have something new.
I think it would be too much for them to say more about Octopath.
That's not even the name of the game, Song of Setsuna. What's it called? Setsuna's Sacrifice? Something
like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's Setsuna. It's a word like that, though, or a name like that.
The heck?
You looking it up? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. I am Setsuna. That's it.
Okay.
Yep. Mabi. Yeah, they're made by Tokyo RPG Factory. So I think they just recently released a game that was kind of like met with just like mediocre, just like, it's okay. So I don't know if they're doing anything else. Boys, my pie in the sky is we're going to see another Nier game announced.
Really?
Yeah.
This soon, huh? You think it'll be a spinoff or a direct sequel to Automata?
I think same universe, but
yeah,
new characters and everything.
Based on how Nier ends, I don't really know what they could do.
Yeah.
So probably just set in that universe, yeah. But that would be hype, dude. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But I would very much like to will it into existence just by speaking about it.
Hey, I mean, it won a lot of awards. I mean, mostly music based, but
yeah. I think for sure they are going to there will be another Nier game at some point. Absolutely.
I look forward to it.
Yes. And we're missing the big one, guys. Can't believe y'all are forgetting it. Are we seeing the Avengers game at this press conference?
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing. Like,
where are we seeing that?
I don't know.
I don't know if we should see that in their video. They should talk about it, but I don't think they should show it in the video.
I think it would be very smart for Microsoft to try and snatch that one since Sony has Spider-Man.
I agree 100%.
Because that is
I completely forgot about
massive game. That game is too big to have just at Square Enix's little thing. Way too big.
Yep, I almost forgot about that one. Just because we haven't heard anything since the initial reveal trailer, little teaser trailer. So
yeah,
I think you're right. I think Microsoft should 100% try to snatch that one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's good.
Hopefully it's not just another trailer. Hopefully we get some details and if we're lucky, some gameplay. At least tell us what it is. I'd love to know what it is.
Yeah, but I want to put these like Destiny-like rumors to rest because that just makes no sense to me.
That does not. I mean,
it's going to be a shared world superhero game.
That sounds so cool.
Without dedicated servers. Just like Destiny.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. But yeah, I think that's probably pretty much it for Square Enix,
I think so. I think that wraps up our E3 predictions. If we've forgotten any major titles that you're screaming at us in the comments that we didn't mention, please forgive us. We'll address them in the comments. Yeah.
So we can know that you're yelling at us.
Yeah, but please comment down below with your own predictions, whether it's based on individual conferences or just overall how you think they will line up and what games we may or may not see. And before we continue, we got to answer Maddie G's question about best to worst. How do we think they're going to line up?
Maddie G. I'll go first.
Okay.
Let me see the list of names here. I think, what should I do? Best to worst or
Best to worst.
Best to worst. I'm going to say Sony, Nintendo, Bethesda. Wait, start over. Xbox number 1. I
Really?
think they're coming out swinging. Then Sony, then Nintendo, Bethesda, Ubisoft, Square, then EA.
Okay, here are mine. Best to worst. Sony, Bethesda, Xbox, Ubisoft, Square Enix. Nope, excuse me, EA, then Square Enix.
I have no faith in Square.
Yeah, my top 3 though are Sony, Bethesda, Xbox, which is to be expected.
Where's Nintendo in there?
Did I not add Nintendo?
No.
All right, let me start over. Sony, Bethesda, Xbox, Nintendo, Ubisoft, EA, Square Enix.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to switch it up a bit. Bethesda, number
There you
1.
go.
Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, UB, Square Enix, EA.
Only reason I put EA above Square Enix is because I have quite a bit of faith in Respawn's Star Wars game.
I think mine and Preston's list are the same, except Bethesda and Microsoft are switched. So
Bethesda's high. I'm a Fallout fanatic.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and Doom. I love Prey.
You love all the.
I
Bethesda
like
titles.
Rage. I'm psyched for Rage.
so
I'm
much.
like literally excited for every single game that Bethesda's probably going to show. So.
That's what's tough, man, is that I'm also very excited about all the Sony stuff as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is all subjective anyway.
Yeah. Bethesda and Sony for me are neck and neck for number 1, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Well, cool. Matty G and Cheeky and Jacob, thank you for your questions. And Sam earlier, speaking of community questions, that brings us to the final segment of the show.
We have even more.
We do. We have three. We have 3 little ones to wrap up the show this week.
I'm not complaining. We got a lot of questions this week.
We do. Yeah. These ones are kind of they're relevant, but just kind of fun ones to end the show today. But ladies and gentlemen, yeah, it has been. We're about 2.5 hours right now. So I haven't done this one this long in quite a while. It was difficult though because Fallout 76 was announced prior to E3, so that's a whole topic in and of itself. Right. It's almost like we had 2 main topics this week. But I may actually strip, like you and I talked about, Preston, that's Fallout 76 coverage, our discussion into a separate video as well with B-roll and stuff like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see what I can do with that. I'm slammed between now and Tuesday morning with vampire stuff, but I'll see if I can crank that out.
It's not that big of a deal. We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
Is a vampire a vampire?
Oh yeah, vampire. Sorry guys. Vampire. I'm a London alley cat and I'm gonna suck your blood because I'm a vampire. If you want your questions read on this show or Ask IOG, which will return in the next week or two, I shouldn't say week or two, post E3 is when Ask IOG will return. Hopefully weekly. I think you and I, at least Jacob, have the ability to do so. If Preston's in town, he can join us. But if you want your questions read on this show or Ask IOG, you can send them to us in one of 3 places. You can email us at ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at obvious_gaming or submit your questions in the Ask IOG section of our Discord channel. And if you want your questions read publicly on the show, always include the hashtag AskIOG so we know what you want it read out loud for the world to hear. But if you just want to chat, message us anytime. I always respond. I can't vouch for these other 2 guys, but please reach out if you'd like. And comment in this podcast on YouTube specifically because we'd love to obviously build that YouTube base. We're going to be doing a lot more video production this summer for the channel. Finally, I have a whole summer off of school, so me and Jacob and even Preston are going to go hard on some video stuff this summer. It's going to be fun, even beyond just Let's Plays. We're going to do some skit-like stuff. If you enjoyed the Spider-Man video we did, we'll be doing stuff like that, but a much higher production quality this time around. So we're going to have fun with it, and I look forward to it. So we encourage you guys to subscribe if you haven't already. And again, submit your questions. We'd love to hear from you all summer long.
Thanks, Garrett.
That being said, Adam G says, just finished Nilfheim and God of War.
Ooh.
And man, what a freaking grind. How did you guys feel about this realm?
It is a bit of a grind. I've personally, oddly enough, enjoyed it in a way. And I think that's just because I really love the fighting in God of War. It's almost perfect. the scenery gets old very quickly. I'll give you that. But I didn't really mind it that much. What about you, Preston?
No, I didn't mind it much either. I thought it was cool. Just like you said, I like the combat so much that it was fun. Just I typically don't like timed things, but that just kind of put an element into the combat that hadn't been there in any other part of the game, where you actually have to kill these particular enemies as fast as possible.
I think like maybe next time around, if they do the same thing, maybe add some more variety to some of the puzzles you do and like some of the traps. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But other than that, I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah, I thought it was cool because, and I think I said this during a review, that part of the game is just, it's not required at all. It's almost like something that could have been released as DLC, like get the seasons pass to get the Muspelheim and Niflheim challenge packs, like stuff like that. And it's just,
it kind of reminds me of like the Zelda DLC for Breath of the Wild, where they had that first pack. Maybe it'd be something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cool. You get cool, really good armor if you
I think
actually
it's as good as another set that you get in the game.
Yeah.
So that and the other set are the two best sets you can
Is
get.
it my favorite part of the game? No, but it's just cool that it's there. I enjoyed for what I played for it. So
I have not dabbled in Niflheim, nor will I ever.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't mean that in like a derogatory sense. I just I'm probably not going to go back to God of War. I got what I wanted out of it. And
okay,
I
no one worked
it.
on it so that you could play it. That's fine.
I loved it though. Loved that game. I'm not going to really dabble in any of the end game stuff because I've seen most of it at this point. And I've heard all about it, so it's whatever.
Did you go to
Muspelheim? I did not.
Okay. I didn't like that place as much. Just because
I like
a lot of the challenges
better.
were aggravating.
Is that all you guys have to say about God of War?
Yeah.
Okay. Furby Derb writes in and says, "Helloings." I don't know if that's a line from like a cartoon or something. He says, "Helloings. Wondering what your thoughts are about the upcoming Warcraft expansion, and Preston and Jacob, if you choose to play, what class will you be rolling? Sincerely, Furry Derb."
I will definitely be playing.
Furby Derb, sorry.
I'll definitely be playing in August. I'll be playing my main, which is a rogue.
Called Sylve.
Sylve.
Yeah.
It's always been my name.
Yeah.
I'm not a loser, so I won't be playing.
Yeah, nerd.
I'm proud of it, dude. I love World of Warcraft. I'm so excited for August.
I enjoyed my
I keep forgetting
free
that it's coming
trial
out this year.
Yeah, my free trial to level 20 is my Blood Elf. It was pretty fun. Jacob talked us into playing Blood Elves.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You had a good time.
Yeah, I did. I liked it.
No, it is fun.
Hazard, final question, writes in and says, simple question. Cyberpunk or steampunk?
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk for sure.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about either, if I'm being honest. I mean, I'm aware of what they both are, like the different styles, but I know for a fact I'm attracted to cyberpunk over steampunk.
Yeah.
You both of you guys feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that way, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone thinks.
What about you, Hazard, and everyone else?
Yeah. Remember, all these community questions are not just for us; they're for you guys as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts down below.
Hazard.
Sylve. That'll do it for community questions.
Thank you, Garrett.
Oh yeah, thanks, Garrett. Thanks for reading those. That was the It's Obvious Gaming podcast, the show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games. Obviously, please subscribe to us over at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming, and also subscribe to us over at the Apple Podcasting app, and also leave us a 5-star review. We would very much appreciate that. Also, leave a thumbs up on this video, and be sure to comment down below as well. That moves this video up in the research category, I believe. At least that's what I've read. So that would help us out a lot. And just check the description down below for links to our social media pages, especially our Discord channel. We have a lot of cool people over there, and they're really nice, and they like to talk to other new people. So come be one of those new people.
Indeed. Preston, if I may interrupt you, we have 2 new reviews since we last read them. We have 2 5 stars, one from Finzel and the other from Eddie Gaming. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much for taking time to do that.
It takes 15 seconds tops. Tops.
These guys are lame. 5 stars.
We're up to 85 ratings, which is
That's great,
crazy.
man. I'd love to hit 100 by the end of the year.
Yeah, that'd be
I'd love to
awesome.
hit 100 by tomorrow, but
Yeah.
We gotta have realistic goals here.
yeah. But yeah, please keep those coming if you guys are willing to do so. They help us out tremendously. And
when
like
you
we said, we're
guys
gonna
are
be-
when you guys are waiting for E3 to start and there's that 10 minutes to count down and you're just sitting there just fiddling around, don't know what to do, whip your phone out, write a review, leave us 5 stars, and then put your phone up and continue to watch the countdown. It'll probably be around 9 minutes and 30 seconds because
Yeah.
it takes no time to do that. So I guess
can
you have
see
to
it
find
now.
out something else to occupy the rest of your time with. So
You can
But,
call your friends up and tell them to rate and
Yeah.
review as well.
Yeah.
it's a good idea, Garrett.
Tell them you'll take them out for a nice meal. if they
Tell
do
them we'll
so.
take them out for a nice meal.
Yeah, we would. We saw
Theoretically,
them.
imaginatively. So
Well,
What did you just say? Imaginably?
I don't know. I think I said
Did you just make up a word?
guys, the
I
next
can't
time we
remember what I
talk,
said.
E3 will be going on. So that's very exciting.
It will. Yeah,
That's
that's this
crazy, yeah.
podcast leads right into the big show. So we're excited.
Yes, very exciting. We hope you
we haven't
guys
even
are.
talked about it. Are you guys going to be doing coverage at all?
I don't know.
We need to talk off about that because I
Yeah.
might have to do something that weekend that I can't
Okay.
talk about right now. So, but
All
we'll
right,
talk.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I guess that'll do it today, guys. I very much enjoyed discussing E3 with you guys. I'm so excited. I hope everybody listening is excited as well. Please leave in the comments what any of your predictions and what you're most excited about for this coming E3. And I guess
sure,
that'll do
man.
it for this week. And we will see you guys next week.
Jacob, the word I said was imaginatively,
And that's a word.
in a way that shows creativity or inventiveness.
Okay.
Sorry, you threw me off when you questioned
Sorry
me.
to question you.
It's okay. Yeah, it was great having you all tune in. Thank you so much. Again, comment below if you're willing. Rate and review us on iTunes, and we will talk to you on Discord as well.
I hope you guys enjoy the return of the longer podcast this week.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like those. So
And everyone have a great E3. We look forward to
Yes.
hearing your thoughts about all things revealed.
yeah, we can't wait to discuss it afterwards, right?
Yeah, hopefully during, if we can figure something out.
Mhm.
Fingers crossed on that one, but stay tuned. We'll provide updates on Discord and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
It's going to be a good summer, boys.
Yep.
For sure.
All right, everyone.
All right,
we'll catch you next
everybody.
time.
Happy E3.
Bye.